I do, folks.
Oh, do.
Oh, I don't know if that music's going to be... Hey up, heavy lad. What up? You'll have to let me know if the music's pretty loud. I might have to turn it right down, to be fair, when these lot start talking. Welcome to the Heavyweight Gaming.
Oh, not here.
Not here.
Yeah, we're doing a Q&A tonight, so basically it's end of year, it's Christmas time, Sean's away on his jollies, so we're just going to have a Q&A, which basically, if you haven't been here before, entails the chat throwing questions at us. If they're new to the channel, they can ask anything they want, like a catch-up or anything like that. If they've been following along the story and everyone wants to know something about the characters or something about what the DM or what we were doing or what we plan to do, etc., just throw it in there. It gives the players an opportunity to ask questions of me, of themselves. It gives me an opportunity to ask them stuff, make notes, hit them with it later on. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to be doing tonight. So if you are along for it, thank you. This is our Christmas. This is our staff Christmas party. Just putting it.
Yeah. Sean patched us. Got a better offer.
Sean's done one, yeah. Yeah. My better offer is.
He's the only one of us with a life.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
Janie. She's saying it out loud. So, I will go
It
through the
hurts to
normal
hear,
stuff. I will go through the normal stuff first. We're on social media, so we're on Instagram, which will be getting used a hell of a lot more in 2022, which I'm looking forward to. It's going to be basically my bald head with dice next to it in different places around the country's world, because we're going global, kids. But yeah, so we're on Instagram,
Really?
we're on Facebook, we're on, just get your passports ready, kids. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. Twitter and Facebook are the main ones, mainly Twitter for the heavyweight gaming stuff. Facebook is a lot of my personal stuff. But yeah, you can find us on them. We got a Discord server that's got lots of stuff in it where we talk absolute nerdy every now and then. We set up our games that way and it's growing and growing. So if you want to join us there, great. I think that's it for the social media stuff. We have sponsors, pretty much of the channel rather than the show, as if you want to call it a show. Loki Battle Mats, their logos on everything we do, really. They've been very generous in sponsoring our channel. They are a award-winning, absolute badasses when it comes to making battle maps. They do a giant book of maps, a big book of maps, like A5, A3, A1, A-6. Don't know how big that is. But yeah, every time they throw out a Kickstarter, instantly funded and more. They're really, really good at what they do. It's unbelievable, and they're still making more and more. They currently just about to finish their science fiction Kickstarter, or it's still going. So just check them out on Kickstarter as well. Go to their website, link in chat. They're great. I love Loki Battle Maps. All the stuff they do put in their books you can buy digitally on DriveThruRPG. So if you're playing on Roll20, Foundry, Fantasy Grounds, any virtual tabletop, you can import them in and use them to do your digital stuff, which is cool. Coyote Grey is again another channel sponsor. I'll be differentiating between channel and show sponsors in the new year, but for now, Coyote Grey is a channel sponsor. They do chibi artwork, so if you go to Roll20's marketplace and type in Coyote Grey, you'll see all the chibi packs that he's done. There's hundreds of them, and they're like $4.99 to get a pack, and you get like 100 tokens in it. Unbelievable. I'm a big fan of chibi artwork, regardless of the artist. But I really like Rob, aka Coyote Grey's chibi style. Also, Coyote Grey, and hopefully we'll get to reveal that shortly, has done us a cover piece for the Fables Among Titans campaign with all these lovely coconuts on it. So I can't wait to show you all that, and they've all got their own tokens coming in chibi form, so we can use them on the Row 20 Death War map adventures. This is the campaign 2 title. We also, not a sponsor, is Sirenscape. We use them in everything, or I tend to use them in everything. If the music's too loud, please let me know. We use them for everything. They're great at giving you an ambient sound set, whether you're in a mansion, a forest, a dragon attack, a bugbear attack, on this high seas, a storm, etc, etc. They're really good if you're playing them around the table. You've got a Bluetooth device, your phone, your laptop, whatever you want to do, you can play it, banging. If you play online like we do, because your mates are all over the universe, then you can. They can all download the Downplayer app. You, as the DM, invite them to your game with a lovely link. They join it. The sound set you play, they can listen to in the comfort of their own home, and they can set it up and down as they see fit. Boom. Ashana, official sponsor and back streaming and a legend. She is an incredible glass crafter who is on Twitch of the same name, Ashana. You can go to her Instagram and see all her little glass creations that she's done. She is super talented, and ever since I played D&D with her a couple of years ago, I've watched as much of her as I can. Streams got a bit weird. But yeah, she's super zen, super chilled. If you just want someone on in the background, just to listen to talk and just join in their chat now and then while you're doing work, homework, gaming, whatever you're doing, she's super cool. Go check her out. Roughworks Creative. This is the over 18 sponsor. The never uses his Facebook, but if you go to Facebook and check out the photos that he's got there, or if you go to the Heavyweight Gaming Facebook page and check out some of our photos, you can see a lot of his work that he's done. Leather and wood is his thing, blood, sweat and tears. An incredible crafter and deserves more and more spotlight, but never chases it. So I basically forced him to sponsor the show so I could shout about him. Channel sponsor, I would say, that they're not on here, Sawdust and Swear Words. Go check them out on Facebook. If you want wood crafting, they're incredible. It's Christmas. We buy stuff off them every year.
I was gonna say, I've just ordered some stuff off him for
just
Christmas, and
Dave and Grace of Sawdust and Swear Words are just incredible. Like, just go check them out and you'll see what I mean immediately. I think that's it for sponsory stuff. We got a D&D 5e supplement called Tasha's Heavier Crockpot of Bits and Bobs.
God, he remembered it.
Yeah. If you go follow this link that's about to appear, boom. 81 pages, subclasses, spells, artwork. Those spells, there's 80 spells across those 81 pages. Lots of artwork in there, lots of writing, all from a collection of geeks and nerds. We put it in a supplement book. We threw it up on DM's Guild and sold 200 copies of it. So it tells you that, you know, at least some of the stuff in there is decent. That leads us to next year. We are currently writing, you may have or may not have seen some of the world building streams I've done regarding Atoria. Atoria is a source book that we're putting together that we hope to release next year sometime. Gabriel and Roberto, Arcane themselves, they're currently working on a Trader's Compendium, so look out for that. And when they're done with that, they'll be jumping on the source book with me, so it'll be getting smashed to pieces. And hopefully put out for you lot to have a look and tell us how good or bad it is, because we've got other plans for more source books in the world of Colossus. We're also, the weekend of the 3rd to the 5th of June at Birmingham NEC, you'll get to see Heavyweight Gaming at the UK Games Expo, sat on a little stool behind Bardic Inspiration. There'll be a very large bald man with a beard just rocking in a chair, just handing out flyers. Go talk to them. But yeah, so we're at the UK Games Expo next year, which is super, super exciting, and I can't wait for that to happen.
And for those who don't know, obviously, me and Luke are Bardic Inspiration.
Yeah, no, Luke, they are. Well, I like to.
So we're kind of needing mentioning too.
I like to keep the myth. You know what I mean? Yeah, Bardic Inspiration. They're a corporation, mega corporation.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Biggest
so,
two of us.
yeah, so you get to see all three of us, and we'll throw abuse at you, but in a nerdy way. It'll be great. Also, we're doing a heavy con next year, where we'll do like a mini con where there's small businesses, there is cosplay. What do you call it? Not a tournament, competition. We'll do some judging of people dressed up better than I am. That'll be great. It'll be totally fine. We'll do some tables. We'll get to play some
Cosplay masquerade.
Cosplay masquerade.
There we go. I'm going to judge all of you.
Do that.
Oh, better start working on a
There'll be
groovy way, getting that.
There'll be some tables where you get to play with Dungeon Masters, friends of ours like AJ, known as Game Weaver, Rich from Dice of the Older. If you're lucky, I might do some myself. We might grab Luke from Bardic Inspiration, who just happens to be he's not on this yet, but I'll send a letter to Bardic and they'll pass it on to him. It's fine. But yeah, so look out for the heavy con as well. It should be a good laugh. That's if we can get him from Glasgow to the middle of England. But yeah.
Buy Mel's house.
If you want to buy Mel's house, if you want to donate 200 bits to this episode of nothingness, I'm just going to put it in the pot and probably buy some artwork with it. There'll be no rerolls. They do not to get. Yes, Akida, a heavy con. Yeah, don't worry about donating or anything this session. They don't carry over. I'll gladly accept it, but don't do it. Is that it? Is that all good?
Yeah.
Just really, you're in the Midlands, aren't you, AD?
Ah, yeah.
It's what, like a 2-hour drive from me, not even? Top.
Yeah.
Wait, let's not dox AD live on Twitch.
Dogs.
Number 42 Middlebank Terrace. There's a
But
there
not
was.
your actual address.
There we go.
Heavy con is not safe from me, because I
that
can
worked?
drive it.
Has it put my Christmas lights on?
It has.
It has. Boom!
There we go.
So, this is the
I have
bit.
a Christmas jumper.
Whee!
Oh, you all got
I've
Christmas
got my
stuff
Die
on.
Hard t-shirt on.
I don't have a Christmas bar humbug. I don't
It's
know where my
only
bar
'cause
humbug hat is.
I haven't got changed since I got home from work, so there we go.
It's fine. So, we've got a couple of hours. You lot in chat, if you have been following along in the story, feel free to throw questions in the chat. We'll grab them, and I'll try and ask the players if they're aimed at the players, or they can ask me if they're aimed at me. Players, you do you. If you want to ask a question of the last couple of months, where the story's going, gone, happened, anything, go for it. We can't ask Sean out, sneaky little bastard. But,
His character remains elusive. We'll never know
Oh,
his
Jenny's
true
in the
backstory.
Midlands. There you go. Sorted.
I love it. I'd offer to give lifts to people, but I'm already here. Is basically what Jenny said.
Yeah, but you know when we're doing Birmingham,
That's true.
it's right in the middle and it's dead easy to get to. UK Games Expo.
More and more people. So go, kids. The floor
Who the
is
fuck
yours.
is Ulrich?
That's
He's fucking
Jake.
lying to my face. I knew it.
He's not lied.
He's not told the whole truth and nothing but the truth. That's for certain.
You're too fluffy with your questions.
Trying to be like,
Mysterious.
Quite
There's
truthful
nothing
with Ari,
cracks in the
actually.
Discord. The question to ask is what the hell is going on and no buggering around.
Hey,
Yeah, that was
Orchestra.
never gonna happen. Hello.
We're doing
Oh,
Q&A
you
stuff. Sorry, Luke, go on.
No, so I was just gonna say they've got a train because they're
Yeah.
driving the hype train.
Drive the hype train.
Whee!
But yeah, I'll shut up and let you keep doing your MC-ness.
Oh, wow. Is that your question, Jade? Who's up?
Yeah.
Yeah, please, Ruby hasn't
Tell me
got a
the plot
clue.
now.
All these NPCs, and you were sat there like, oh yeah, you guys have met like 90% of these, and I'm like, I have met exactly
Ruby's like-
0% of these people.
In my defence, we've been going a few sessions before Ruby appeared in the forest.
And it's
I was
true.
gonna say some of them are right at the beginning, like
Berryman
what's
was
his
right at the
face?
beginning.
So-
Berryman was right at the beginning, yeah.
I can't tell you who Ulrich is, but I can tell you he shares a similarity with Stefan.
Oh.
There you go. So I'll keep it.
He's a fucking wizard. Get him in the pen. He's a wizard.
He's a goddamn Echo Knight is what he is. Come on.
They share a
Get
similarity.
him in.
So there you
then.
go. Right, there's stuff going on that I really can't just tell you over a Q&A.
Wizards
Oh my god,
need-
what if Ulrich's an echo?
Oh.
What if we were
That's
all echoes, and
interesting.
what if the moon was made of cheese?
No, what I mean, what I mean is,
What
what
do
I
you mean,
mean
what
is,
if?
he's not the Ulrich, the Ulrich that originated from Outworld. Like, say he was like the Ulrich.
There
of
is all the
Crystal
stuff that
World.
like says that obviously Ulrich Steinson is like a title rather than
No, but
Like the Dread Pirate.
for those of
Roberts.
you who are apparently playing, but also
Thanks for
were
the follow,
not
Linus.
present in the last session, he was like, yeah, I'm that one. Yeah, the really old one. That me. That was slight paraphrasing, but that did happen.
yeah, I did. I wrote notes on it and everything, but you know.
Thank you for the follow, Zanius. Right, if you want to take your follow back, because I can't say your name, I totally understand.
We do it all the time.
Might need it phonetically when you get here. How did the players end up in the Echo place? Ari's mum sent them.
Harry's fucking family.
Need to
All
get
of
in the
Ari's
pen.
family is all to blame for Echo.
Basically.
Basically, Sapphire started touching shit he shouldn't start touch again.
Well,
I'll do
yeah.
Pictish Bob. Hello. Merry Christmas to one and all. If you're not into Christmas, have a happy 25th.
So yeah, Sapphire touched a thing of echo magic near somebody who was having some kind of echo seizure, and that exploded.
Because as we all know, Sapphire touching things has always historically gone fucking spectacularly.
Sapphire is
we've
the
kind of forgotten
male version of Serenity from the last campaign.
Even
Let's be honest.
champions. Yeah,
Just
definitely.
Kind of
touching
forgotten about the
everything.
blood curse. We really should get back on that at some point, or
Nah.
he's gonna eat us all in our sleep.
There's a lot of stuff like that is just on a list.
There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot.
No one can pronounce this stupid gamer tag anyway.
It's
Zionist?
no wonder we didn't
Zionist?
establish saving the Copper
Zionist?
Forest.
I'd say Xanius, but you know.
Xanius.
Zionist.
He is basically
without the ios in it, Zion.
Yeah.
Or like.
You're all correct. There you
We're
go.
all,
There you go.
I mean, we're all saying different
Happy,
things, but we got
happy
there.
Easter, everyone. Look,
Yeah, so that's how we ended up in the Echo place, and how we got back was Stefan.
Spite.
brother.
Yes,
Spite.
Spite.
Stefan.
All Ari's
Stefan
family.
actual Stefan sent us back through. a
So we
portal.
went in to bring this ungrateful little shite head back, and he was like, actually, I'm staying because I touched stuff that I shouldn't have.
I mean,
Because
to be
I'm a
fair,
wizard.
it's not that he wanted to stay, it's that he's stuck.
Yeah, but he touched stuff. Didn't
He did touch
Yeah.
stuff
He
he shouldn't
did touch stuff because what do wizards do, children?
Fireball.
Touch shit.
Their sticky
Touch.
fingers.
Get the sticky fingers all up and stuff that should bloody
It's
touch
a
it.
family trait that they have sticky fingers in the Rycroft family.
Watch,
I'm just saying.
watch Luke's next character be a wizard who won't get his fingers out the cookie jar.
Where's next?
Ari
round?
actually is not a very good rogue, let's face it.
That is
Like-
true. Ari is not a very good
We've got a
rogue.
question from
Oh,
May
no, we got
Bonnix.
2 questions there, yeah.
So from May Bonnix, a question for those who recently multi-classed. So mainly Luke and Jade. I don't think you multi-classed yet, have you, Luke?
Yeah.
Have you?
I don't think you don't think you made me multi-class.
He
Well, so he
Mesa-
cast a
he's
certain
fighter,
spell
and he
last
cast
time.
message.
You know
Yeah, but
how?
that was racially, not his wizardy stuff.
No,
What
no,
what
that
message?
was wizardy.
The message.
That was no, that wasn't technically wizardy. That was sorcery.
Sorcery.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about where your characters are now compared to where you thought before where you imagined them being? So obviously when you
Fucking
started out...
devastated.
I was going to say, I reckon I can answer Jade's.
I had plans on keeping Xandru as a pure warlock all the way to level 20, and then as expected, tits went up. Things went tits
What's
up.
a t-shirt? Just happened.
Things went tits up.
As
And
expected, tits went up. Yeah,
Tits
I'll
went up.
I'll start sketching a design edit.
Jade. We might, yeah, alright.
yeah, things went tits up, and it just kind of made sense to multi-class Xandria at that point of bringing her back to life because of the whole resurrection in the church of the woodcutter and stuff. And I sat and like deliberated what to multi-class into, like what would make sense. So I was like, would it be a ranger? Would it be a paladin, a cleric? And in the end, the paladin just kind of fit in nicely. So I'm devastated, but at the same time, I'm also intrigued.
I was
about
gonna
how this
say-
is
It
all
fits
gonna
in nicely
fall.
with how stabby she is.
There was
Yeah,
no
yeah.
that's what I was
better-
about to say. Is Jade plus Smite equals Jade having a fun time?
There was
pretty
no better class for the lovely Jade to pick when she sent me that message. I want to be a paladin of the woodcutter. Lottery won, kids. I'm now going to retire as a dungeon master. You off to bed?
Yeah.
Say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Now go to
Merry
bed.
Christmas.
Bye, children.
On my side, I'd kind of been throwing out possible, like after kind of level 4 or 5, possibly, was when.
Say Merry Christmas.
Bye!
Merry
Bye.
Christmas.
Night night.
I'd started kind of throwing out ideas
Bye.
of either-
Coffee.
Don't drink coffee, but never mind.
ideas of like 3 possible paths for Kess. And it was like, yeah, no, that's interesting. Now you're part dragon and a sorcerer.
Which is none of those paths.
Funnily enough, no.
Well, you can't kick off about wizards touching stuff and then touch stuff.
I didn't mean to touch stuff like
You
that.
tripped, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
slipped
I
your
technically multi-classed again recently, but it's a real technicality because I took a level of bard really early on because of basically because I wanted like we had like the wizard and we had paladin in, and I wanted like message and I wanted
heals.
and Ari had kind of already a little bit of healing, so we had no healer at the time. But also
got a
like
healer now. Fight me.
wow. But yeah, I basically wanted a level of bard because also it fitted with Ari's backstory as well of him like growing up on the wall, but he wasn't allowed to be a bard. So now he wants to be a bard, and then I was like, but then I looked at bard levels and rogue levels and went, I want evasion. But I want evasion.
And then Mel touched
So-
stuff as well, so that was good.
Yeah, and then I touched stuff after level 7, and I went, oh well, okay, I guess I'm doing more bard. Cool.
I think I
Um,
less touched stuff and more I spoke to stuff that I shouldn't.
Oh, I
It's
spoke
why
to
it's
stuff I
just like
shouldn't.
I'm loving Ruby
But-
because it's like she got drawn into this place and they're like, please, like touch stuff, right? Do the mystic thing, and she's like, nope.
Nope. Got no hands,
What?
can't touch nothing.
Where's
Back
the door?
off.
Where's the door? Name mystic. No, I'm not here for that.
Oh, hey,
There's the
Jade.
unicorn. Don't
How
care.
did you die? Hey.
For the incompetence of some people.
Yeah, my bad. I was the healer for that fight.
My
No,
bad.
no, no. The
Well,
fact
we're all
that Ari
bad.
was stood next to me as I lay on the ground.
My turn was
dying.
after yours. My turn was after yours. My plan was to heal you. My turn was after yours. You're
Okay.
like, I'll be fine. I've got
Person
advantage on
before
death
me-
saves.
The person before me, Luke.
I would like to say that
in.
I would like to say that we are used to playing with someone in another campaign who does not have stabilized person as something that you can do
That
if
is
you are
true.
not a healer. Therefore, that is not something that I remembered I could do.
Oh, is that a homebrew
Because if
in a
I had
different game?
remembered as
Yeah.
well, I would have said something
Because
like,
that's how another GM that we play, like our other long-running campaign with, plays it, and she's like, no, like you can't just be like, yeah, I slap this person until they're, because you don't have any healer training. Like,
Yeah.
say you were a cleric and you were out, or you had proficiency in healing or medicine checks
Medicine.
or whatever, then you could do that. But Kess isn't. So I was like, well, I can't help. I have no potions. There's nothing I can do. Therefore, I guess the only other thing that I can do proactively
Is a
is
venture.
to, yeah.
Actually,
that's-
also
that's
in
why.
in my defense, at some point during
I
that
think
fight,
you
I
died-
took quite a whack to the noggin. So I
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
I
you
was
were
making
down
my
as
own
well.
death saving throws.
Yeah.
It was
I
so
had
fun.
advantage on death saving throws, and that did not help me. I just had
no,
two
because you were
really
like,
poor
I'll be
rolls.
fine. I've got advantage on death saves.
And they were both under 10.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if AD hadn't
Don't bring
had a
me into this.
storyline that he wanted that he wanted for Ruby, that he'd gone to all the trouble of making and hadn't got to do yet, I think I'd have died as well. Step in and your bloodline awakens. It's like that's
The first time you went down that story,
Kicked
so it
off.
could have been anywhere in the
No,
world.
I went down under the wall.
You didn't die though, or nearly die.
Yeah, he just went
Oh.
unconscious.
I thought I was worse than that.
No.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Put it this way, I am so used to playing healers in every single game that generally if someone goes down, I'm going to get you back up. Like, even if I only have 2 spell slots.
The thing is,
I'll be
well,
saving those spell slots.
is Andrea, like, always had shit HP. She still has shit HP.
Oh yeah.
Even with the lance and mage armor boosting her AC, it was never going to be enough.
As soon as you got hit, it was always going to be life-threatening.
Yeah.
Up in the
Every-
AC
I-
just
you
made
know
it less
what? I-
likely, but as soon as a blow landed, you were in trouble.
Yeah, I don't think there has been a fight, like apart from maybe like the first couple of like sessions. But
No, you
since
went
then,
down in the
I
first
don't think
session.
there is a fight that Xandria has not gone down in.
No, you went down in the first session.
Mm.
I stand
Sometimes
corrected then.
not even a
Xandria
fight.
goes down every session.
I don't.
Sometimes not even a fight. Just a quick dip in a briskly cold pool.
It's true.
Yeah, in a pool, goes unconscious, falls off a cliff, goes unconscious.
For more story reasons that Xandria died, Kida, was she died in the Echo Realm, facing echoes of Stefan and the Meat Men.
Oh yeah, the Meat Men. Yeah,
not not mirror golems, not echo constructs.
It was
these
an
bastards,
unfortunate choice
Meat
of
Men.
shading in roll 20.
Yeah.
Was so true.
There's
Wow.
a joke about Ari in that somewhere that we
Wow.
can't make because it's before 9 o'clock.
No, sod that. Don't ever make it. All right, just leave it there. Heavy, are you happy with how the campaign has progressed over the year? Yes.
Can you imagine if he said no?
No.
This is actually the final.
Yeah, it finished like 7 months ago. They just keep going.
Yeah.
Every Tuesday they just turn up. I'm like, shit. Yeah, I'm very happy the way it's gone. They've not gone anywhere that I wrote. I've had to rewrite almost every place they go.
Players.
Walls,
What we do.
realms, forests,
Rule
fae,
1. Just rule
cities.
1 of writing for players. Take what you have written and immediately put it in the bin because they're
No,
not
don't,
written.
because that can be used for a source book at a
Yeah.
later date.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
I'm
source
just-
book or a 24-hour charity stream
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
that can directly impact your players
Oh
as
my
vengeance.
God, I would
As
love.
soon as you said in the 24-hour shoot, as soon as you said the Taffin Sasha, me and Jay were just like,
But
The amount of abuse I got off you two in the 24 hour. You're a bastard! You're a bastard! I'm like,
I would. Do you know what? I'd
In their
love to do a
defence, lady.
24-hour stream of this campaign. I think that would be fucking hilarious.
I don't think so, because I think Luke and I would be asleep on the floor.
I don't know.
Maybe 12
Ruby
hours
like
then.
whacks up on caffeine. Might be interesting.
24-hour role playing is
I think I could manage it in person. I don't think I could do it.
in person. Yeah, is a lot easier because
Yeah, you
you've got each
kinda-
other
yeah.
like
Feed
hold
off of each
other
other.
away.
each other.
When we did the vampire one in 2019, Phil literally fell asleep next to me, and I kept, Phil, we're on camera, wake up!
Well, the first one we did, Rob was sliding down his chair.
Rob likes to sleep, though. That's
Yeah,
the
I
thing as well.
Rob is a sleepy man.
It was
He's
ridiculous.
very sleepy, man.
So I dropped Rob and Eddie off at my house, got in the car to take Sam and Kerry home, and before I'd got at the end of my drive, Becky texted me a picture of them two out cold on the floor. Just on the floor. Like,
Yeah, not even anywhere.
just dead on the floor. I was like, absolute rookies.
Bless them.
Any more? For any more?
When is it not the DM's job to improv on the fly?
Never.
Never.
This is all planned, Keita. What are you talking about? There's no improv here.
Yeah, we've never thrown any curveballs at AD mid-game for him to go,
I mean,
Uh,
of all the sessions we've done, they've only thrown curveballs in all of them, so it's not bad.
when we've touched things that we shouldn't have touched.
Well, what was everyone's biggest curveball to date?
Yeah. Come on, AD, tell us, what was our biggest curveballs?
But that's to players as well. That could be players for what another player did. It could be for something that AD did. Like what?
Well, in theory, you lot will have one. I've got 5, so. Give me
I
a
mean, we
minute.
might have ones for each other.
For each other, yeah.
I think Ruby as Azamar was like.
Yeah, that was a big
I did
curveball.
not see that one coming,
Nah, but did
and
you?
normally I'll see that kind of thing.
No, as soon as you'd ruled out Ulrich as because you were like you've met an Azamar, and I was like Ulrich because I've been convinced that Ulrich has been an Azamar since like the second session we met him.
Yeah.
But as soon as you were like, no, it's not him, I was like, well, it's got to be. We don't have any humans in the party. We don't.
No.
Well, according to the cleric that Ruby had a chat with, Azamar are human. They're just blessed humans. I mean, the difference on the character sheet is a little charisma bump, and once
There
a
is
day
a-
for 1 minute you're allowed wings.
There's a plethora of homebrewiness around Celestials and Asimar
Yeah.
and Colossus. Because I don't like... You're human. You're Celestial blooded. you're Phoenix
Yeah.
blooded. To me, you should all be different. Like there should be as many flavors as to your one thing as there is to an elf and a dwarf.
Any other
and
person, yeah.
Oh, but yeah, Mel was very, very, very married to the idea that Ruby was some sort of fae and didn't know it.
Ask us, Harry's
A changeling
surrounded
could have
by
been-
fae.
I can see how you were surprised when
Like
it
a-
was.
But no.
Because the thing is as well, I literally have an Azamar in Arcane's campaign on the Wednesday. No one knows I'm an Azamar yet. Done the same thing.
Yeah, but
and I'm
do
like, I
you
still
know?
didn't see it.
But does the character know?
Yeah.
Ruby started off as a human Kida, and then her true bloodline was realised, and she's actually an Aasimar. So she got a charisma boost.
Yeah, and some wings.
And some wings.
So a couple of curveballs.
But so far, only when I'm angry.
That's true. Passionate, when you're passionate. A couple of curveballs. Not staying in the Copper Forest to fight Ulrich. I thought you may go all guerrilla tactics and pull a Rambo when you walk through the forest the first time, and then chose to take like the innocents out. I thought it'd be the other way around. I thought they'd be a cutscene, and you'd fight in the forest rather than the forest be a cutscene and take on the thingies. I suppose with DM it's not really curveball; it's more, mild curveballs.
Whatever makes you
Letting
more
out-
comfortable to say.
Letting out the Tathrin. I didn't see that coming.
That was a, to be fair, that was a curveball to me as well. Where I was like,
I-
oh, okay, we're doing this now. Then okay, cool.
I'd prepared
Luke and I were
stuff.
very tired on that session as well.
I'd prepared stuff for you to go beyond the wall because I thought you'd see the damage that the wall was taking and go beyond the wall to like the demon realm and stuff. So I wrote a load of demon realm stuff. You were like, nah, just let her off.
To be fair, that last session prior to letting her out was a curveball for everyone involved.
Which one?
The reason that I have dragon scales, basically,
Yeah.
was that that was Luke was not at the wheel in any shape, manner, or form.
Well,
To be fair, I think as well with that one, when we went through and I was rolling death saves because I was facing the dragon,
yeah,
I
you
was
were
like,
human.
what is this? And why am I rolling death saves? What?
So that was a thing. Paladin for Xandria. Not necessarily Paladin, but the choice of Paladin. It made sense. Like when Jade put it to me about Paladin Woodcut and stuff. It's pretty cool. I'm really looking forward to.
We'd all been
Jade
talking cleric for ages,
Jade,
but yeah.
betrays her Paladin choice. I'm looking forward to that. But that was definitely, I did not see.
I don't know how long this oath to Paladin is going to fucking last.
Might be an oathbreaker soon.
Yeah, I was going to say
There's
cross-class.
so much hate for anything to do with Ravenholm. She just doesn't care right now.
What else is there?
All these little gingerbreads are Ravenholm people, just so we're aware, remember.
Quick and
You're
merciful
not
death.
going to the school yet. Because you talked about it for quite a couple of sessions. Like every time you had a bit of a campfire talk.
Yeah, we
Sapphire said,
were
"Go to
going
school."
there. But you got Mama Rycroft to put us in the fucking gay baby jail and
Save
send us
my
in with the
son!
echoes.
He's my favourite!
Yeah, basically.
Well, definitely. Harry ran away.
Yeah, he's the other one left, sorry.
It wasn't a curveball for me because I didn't really know the character that when Xandria died and Jade was like, it's alright, I'm going to bring another character for a few sessions and see how far we get with a resurrection spell, and she kept dropping hints that she was going to be this character that the others knew, which you can tell
Serenity.
because Mel's pulling a face about it. And
Serenity would have
then
died as soon as she turned up.
AD's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, and over here you see this character and
It
describes
would be a
Jade's
party
character.
kill.
And the look on Luke, AD, Mel, and Sean's face when Jade's character Crystal said, "Oh, I don't do things for money. I do them because they're the right thing to do to help people." And I was just like, "Oh, okay, chill. We've met a nice person. That's a change of pace." And everyone else is like, "I felt a disturbance in the force."
It's because if you were to try and say a sentence that was the most antithesis to a sentence that Serenity would say, those exact words were the only words that you could say.
Serenity was a bard who loved to just use her daggers and shatter everything.
Turns up late, Starbucks in hand, I cast shatter.
Yeah.
But you're in a
Everybody.
cave with a ceiling. I cast shatter. Your party are in the middle. Shatter.
Bastard.
I'm gonna quell his rage by playing a song that reminds him of his daughter.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was
And then I cast Shatter.
fucking worst.
That was ridiculous. Oh, he's gone Super Saiyan. How do we calm him down? Remind him of his dead niece. Oh, it's not working.
Yeah, funny that.
Fucking brilliant.
I think my biggest curveball today from AD would be the end of last session. With Toodles being like, nah, I'll have the kid, thanks. So that's going to be fun to play through in character. That's obviously, character has not encountered that, but
I'm looking
player
forward
has.
Oh, well, I missed something a couple of sessions ago that Ruby wouldn't have because I was distracted. So we're about to find out now. Ruby is definitely sure that she's not going to face too many negative repercussions for it.
Yeah.
What happens when people are dicks to trees?
I am the Lorax.
Ruby is, though, basically.
Yeah.
You have more questions.
Eddie, how delighted are you when you receive a player's backstory and you realise how you can twist it to cause them later pain? I mean,
Just Harry.
euphoric, orgasmic, what other words for good stuff? It feels great. Especially when
You said many times though that literally like you could just do a whole campaign 1 to 20 with everyone's backstories.
Everyone, like any DM, they don't need to write. They do not need to write epic tales, Lord of the Rings, and all this. They can literally just do backgrounds with their players, and you've got levels 1 to 20 right there. Yep. Chasing your own backstories is enough to get you.
Do you find it easier when somebody gives you quite a vague backstory with maybe a hook, or when somebody gives you quite a detailed backstory and you've got a lot? Is that more restrictive because the details are there, or is there more to work off?
The only thing I need from my players regarding their backstories is their permission for me to bolt my own stuff onto.
Yeah, but is it easier if they've made a really detailed one, or if they've given you? Because mine was basically, she's a foundling.
No,
she's the only human in a whole halfling community, and she's a foundling, and that gives you a lot of scope to come up with Azamars and other bullshit. But
all right, Judy, all right. You've got wings for crying. I don't really know actually. Like,
I think if I remember rightly, like we worked together on backstory because basically, like I sent you a vague idea of what I wanted, and then you sent me back like 3 pages worth of Eagles history, and then I sent you back an actual backstory from that Eagles history, which is the longest backstory I've ever written. My essay as well.
I think it's if the less you send me, the easier it is for me to just make shit up. But at the same time, like, you've got to obviously accept, oh shit, he's just going to make shit up. If you send me incredibly detailed ones and very complex ones, it takes off the weight of me going, oh well, they've got a mother, a father, a sister, an uncle, a granddad, a dog, an hamster. Do you know what I mean? But
I think like you'd sent me like the background of like the House of Eagles stuff with like a few named characters in it, and then I was the one that went, well, he just slept with that guy, that's fine.
Yeah, that were it. I had a sword teacher. Can I sleep with him? Yeah, marry. Go for it. Roll a d20.
Slept with everyone at the
So like, and Mebonics makes a fair point actually. Like, the more you send me, that's from your character's perspective.
Yeah.
So I can still dive all over it and go, well, actually, they've been watching you all along. So I don't really know how to answer that, the ease of it. I suppose both are just as advantageous to the DM as the other, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, like I think especially from us as a party for this campaign at least, I think you got like quite a good mix of people who wrote quite in-depth stuff, folk who wrote sweet fuck all, me and Jeannie.
To be fair, I gave a hook at least. Mine was basically carte blanche to do what you want.
Yeah. You give me enough detail that I know where you're from, so I know how to play with that culture, and then the whole, you know, I don't know my real history, so that's like cool.
Having said that, if you want it, I can send you a list of Ruby's parents, 3 siblings, her dog, who lives in that household that she left, and all of that, because that all exists now.
Sorry, Jeannie. Sleepy Opossum, did you guys just wrap your campaign? No, we're halfway through it, my good friend. We're having a bit of a Christmas Q&A. There's been a few months since we last waffled some stuff. So it's basically those that have been following us and the players and stuff just get to ask some stuff over the last bit. Because if you do a wrap-up of 50
it's not Schmox Machina.
Yeah.
Under any other name.
I am known as Brian Burser, you know what I mean? So. But yeah, it's not a wrap-up, but it is a Q&A on the campaign. We're halfway through it-ish, as much as halfway through a campaign can be guessed. But yeah.
How long's a piece of string, really, isn't it?
Yeah. So, and they're twisting it to cause them later pain, yes. But it's also not just a pain. I'd replace the word pain with reaction.
Yeah.
Like, if I can get the players, not the characters, but the players, when I'm interacting with, say, Jade and the other 4 of them, I'll look at the Zoom call and see their mouths slightly open as they're like, what the fuck? Or, for instance, Ari does tend to get a bit tearful, but the players are reacting, or...
Ari or Mel? That's the question.
My favourite thing that twisted was on Ari's backstory, but it was Luke's reaction, and that's when they first met Stefan and Darius. Which me and Luke talked about afterwards, but yeah, it was a very cool moment and a very real thing to happen in Make Believe. So yeah, I do enjoy the reactions later on, not the pain, the reactions. But yeah, hey, some good tunes. Next down, what race is Ruby? Human. Now ask some. Eddie, are you ready for any decision your group makes? I will lie and say yes. Have you ever made plans for a session and the group goes in an entirely different direction? I tried to make... So what I said to this lot when we first started was the world's sandbox. Like, if they walk past 2 people mugging someone, and it just happens that they're mugging, you know, the monarch of the country for their crown, then that monarch gets mugged because they've walked past them. It doesn't happen at a later date because I want them to see it. They might find out about it later on as someone's shouting in the middle of the town. But the world is sandbox. Wherever they go, I will make short-term plans for them so they've got something to interact with in the next few sessions. But the overarching stuff that's happening in the world is happening regardless, in the sense of if they don't physically walk in front of it and try and stop it or succeed in stopping it, then it obviously happens, or they might interact with it accidentally somewhere else that causes a knock-on effect. Ripples in.
We might come back to it 6 months later, like going to the City of Ravens 6 months later than we should have done, really, and you know.
Well, that's the journey. That's the journey of adventurers. So, plans for the session and the group. I suppose like you can't really avoid it as a DM. You have an idea in your head what you're going to throw in front of the players. There's an element of you want them to fight a dragon, say, and they want to go left, but you put the dragon on the right. The left road still leads to the dragon, so you can sort of do it that way. But if you've got stuff that's a bit more indenting in your world, and they do not go left, they go right, then they miss it. But it still has to happen, is how I try to run it. And then they'll find out about it later on and go, oh, right. Oh, if we'd have turned left at that road, we could have done X or Y, so that sort of thing. Yeah.
I think that's what makes this world, particularly of 80s, it most like immersive for a player, because you know that you can't do everything. It's you're not playing like Skyrim or something where you've got 7 billion quests and you can do them in whatever order, because it doesn't matter if you decide to follow on the Thieves Guild and then you want to go back and use a previous save to do whatever.
Yeah.
No, like if you've decided that you're gonna go over there and do that thing, that other option is gone now. You have to sometimes make what feels like a crap decision, not because you don't want to make it necessarily, but because in that moment for your character you are so immersed that there is not necessarily a strictly quote-unquote good outcome. Something is always going to be at the wayside, because you can't spend plates on top of plates.
The amount of times that I've gone, Ari would do that, but I really don't want to, because he's definitely more chaos than I am used to. And I am just like, oh boy, I guess I'm going on the chaos route now. But the amount of times that like he's done something absolutely dumb that I know is really dumb as a player, but I'm like, but that's like, it sounds really trite, but like that's what he would actually do. Like going into the Bloody Dragon with, going to see Natasha Zasha with Kess, like he'd do that. I think it's dumb. I thought I was gonna die.
I love the
We
Taffy.
both thought we were gonna die. But yeah, it's an interesting dichotomy sometimes between the character and the player, where especially late at night. I'm not always with it, and I just go, oh, I guess I'm just going with that because that's what he'd do because he's a dumbass. It's great.
Kestra, everyone. I've only been playing D&D since August this year. Jesus. And absolutely love it. Is there any one piece of advice you can give me, being as inexperienced and innocent that I am?
Play as much as you can.
Yeah.
And it's always supposed to be fun for everyone. So if like if you've joined a campaign and I don't know, like they're like, okay, yeah, we're doing war, we're doing dark, and you're like, I just wanted to have a pet direwolf and speak to trees. Then like it doesn't mean that it just means that
That's not the table for you.
yeah. That group wants one thing and you want another thing, and that's perfectly fine. And yeah, don't be scared of going, actually guys, it's just a bit of fun and I'd rather treat it as a bit of fun than...
I'd say as well, like if you can get a chance to play one shots, like try and play as many different classes as you can. I'm still working my way through the classes slowly but surely. But like, because then at least you experience each different one and you sort of have an idea of what you actually want to play. Because like I never played Rogue before I played Ari, and now I'm like, I love Rogue, but it was Link's suggestion.
I tried hard for a one shot a couple of months ago, and I absolutely, Jack of all trades is my new best friend. I'm absolutely loving Bard, but then also it's because I chose the College of Spirits, which I recommend giving that one a go. That is fun. Make your friends breathe fire.
With Jeannie on Luke and I played with Jeannie on this, and it was fun.
It's fun. Yeah, try all the different classes.
Play with stuff.
Give your player give the character a funny voice, and then ditch the funny voice halfway through. Continuity is the
give them a
movie
puppet
studios,
halfway
don't worry
through,
about
eh,
it.
Luke?
Have fun though. Have fun.
It is a game, and it remains a game.
My advice would be, whatever you're thinking, say it.
Yeah.
Just say it. If there's an encounter in front of you, whether it be a fight or just breaking into a building, and the first thought that goes through your head is, I want to climb up that tree and somersault off it and hit him with my sledgehammer, say that to the DM. Don't go, I'll just walk forward and hit it with my hammer. Unless that's what you want to say. If you come up with something in your head, can we not use Mage Hand to do this? Can we tie a budgie to a goose and then set it on fire?
Don't get like limited by rules. Just be like, hey, I want to do this, and then if they're a good DM, will find a way of you doing that.
Oh god, yeah, 100%. Like
worst case, the DM or GM turns around and goes,
nah,
not really like that, but you could probably give it a go this way.
Yeah.
That's and that's it. Don't just say it. Just say it out loud. Let them a wild sheep chase for my first one shot. You all ever run that one? I've read it. The wild sheep chase. It's actually quite good for an introductory thing. Make sure you're all drunk.
I do agree with what you say as well about you seem like such a good excuse to get your friends in a room and bond over stories. That's all it is. It's just storytelling with dice. Like, that's all it
think about it less like a game, like a board game or a video game. Like the rules are
You don't win.
the rules are optional. Let's be really honest.
It's one
The
of the
rules
first
are
sentences in the books.
yeah.
Inspiration rather than law.
It's you're telling a story and you just so happen to be using dice to see how well these actions go out, because otherwise every single thing you do would be, oh my god, the most powerful heroes from the most powerful land and everything's awesome, but that gets old really
It's all about
quick.
them nat ones, kids.
The nat ones are so fun to play out.
I am the greatest warrior alive. Look at Achilles, ultimate nat one, unbelievable, undefeatable, best warrior.
There was
ancient
a
Greece has ever
Tumblr
seen.
post about how the road to
That
El Dorado is a rogue and a bard just consistently rolling in turn nat 20s and nat 1s.
Yes.
You try to convince them you're a god. Nat
Have you seen
20.
The Hobbit?
Just as you speak, the volcano goes off behind you. They believe you're a god. I try to dismount the horse, your foot gets tangled in the saddle, you fall off like a prat.
There's a lot of movies. The Hobbit is just natural 20s. Legolas running up bricks in midair.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if your dad turned to you and went, just look at me, son. I'm going to put a 6-foot black iron arrow on your shoulder and we're going to fire it at that dragon. Right? Don't move. Yes, we are on a tower that's on fire. Don't worry about it, son. I've got this. Right, DM, you ready? Disadvantage? I am all over this. Boom. 2 nat 20s. What do you say? Oh, yeah, you hit the dragon. I mean, what's that about? What is that about?
If you don't fail sometimes, then doing the cool shit isn't cool anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just the norm.
Like, I
It's
still
why-
remember rolling the nat 20 on parkouring off the bridge and then parkouring off the bridge and hitting the big bad and then kissing Xandria.
Yep.
Nat 20.
It's why I give my characters like really like effective flaws. So Xandria having a lung problem, because that's more interesting than her just being, hard as nails.
Samson would do that.
She is, though. She's still hard as
she
nails.
is.
I mean, she's hard as nails until.
She dies.
Until somebody breathes near her.
Yeah.
You are
Jenny-
correct, Keeda. Samson would do that. And are you about to ask the how easy do you find it to separate question?
Yeah.
Well, seeing as it's aimed at you lot. How easy, players, do you find it to separate what you do from what your character would do? My first ever character was very similar to me, but my current one I've tried to make less like me. That question popped up when Mel was talking about Harry doing the whole, I wouldn't necessarily make that decision, but I understand Harry would.
Me as a person, I am a curious little fuck. So if I had played Xandria like me, my gosh, I would have touched so many things. I would have probably would have been Sapphire.
Yeah, I was about to say you'd been
Yeah.
a 6'5"
If I could,
to
if
Maxi.
I could play a character, I would be Sapphire. That's my energy as a person. But to play Xandria, I have to try and get really serious and moody and, I'm better than everyone kind of energy. Which I'm
Probably-
totally not. I'd like to think I'm quite a humble person in real life.
For me, it's kind of
It's just like, no. Eddie's been on Valorant with me today. He's learned it.
For me, it kind of varies because, like Jade says, I want to know everything, and it's not just because I'm curious and because I like stories. That is a flaw of my own personality, where it's like if I don't know, I'm like, if I don't know that, that's gonna go wrong. But my character's a bit more naive than I am, so it is. Sometimes if I, Gina, am really engaged in the story, I have to rein myself back in to think, well, actually, what would the character do? But sometimes I'm just in the zone, and it's.
Yeah, I think I don't think anyone has ever created a D&D character which does not have some aspect of themselves
Yeah.
in it somewhere. And you might not notice it in the first couple of sessions. You're probably going to be 60 sessions in the weeds, and something's just going to hit weird, and you're going to be like, oh, fuck. That's why I need therapy. But you can't afford it, so you play D&D with your pals instead.
And then, yes, sometimes I try to do that consciously to avoid getting blindsided by it. So, for example, I wrote Ruby as like a very sensible, down-to-earth kind of person until she starts getting cross because she is still a teenager and them hormones be fun. But it's I spend my days at work saying things to people like, well, you can't do that because it's not safe. And there is actually a law that says you're not allowed to do that because it's not safe. And then I come home and I play D&D and I'm like, you can't do that, Ari. It's not safe.
But yeah, I think sometimes you can get really in the zone, and other times, sometimes you get too in the zone. And next thing you know, 17 very big decisions have been made, and you're not sure you were personally in the room for them. And other times, you have to kind of take a step back and go, right, as a player, I really want to see what's over there, but that's not what this person would be doing.
Yeah, character bleed can be a big thing.
Oh yeah,
like a really big thing. I know when I did my very first campaign of Vampire the Masquerade, there were like at end of sessions, there were times I was actually crying because of the decisions that I had to make in character. And
Vampire, I think, can be a little bit more towards that. I feel there's a little bit more content warning with that one, shall we say?
That's true.
It's less
Whereas I
lifelike.
think, well, I think as well, because a lot of us know each, or we either play with each other for a long time or know each other outside of D&D. Because like me and Luke have known Jade for quite a few years now, and we know Jeannie from cosplay stuff. So basically, we're all kind of cosplay, and then we know Sean from like other stuff as well. So it's like we all kind of know each other a little bit. So that kind of helps as well, in that you trust each other a little bit more.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind,
but, like,
for anyone who's not encountered our various streams, and with the exception of Jeannie, the other four of us currently on this have been playing together D&D 3 years now. So like and that's as players and as DMs for each other.
Exception of Jeannie and Sean, basically.
Yeah.
The rest of us have all been playing for like 3 years. But I think as well, like there's definitely aspects of character sometimes that you don't expect, because Ari is based off Sirius Black, who I did character panels as for a very long time at conventions. And basically when I had to come up with a new character, I had no clue. So Luke was just like, why don't you just do Sirius as a rogue? And I was like, sure, I'll do that, because I'm used to him and he's an idiot. So all his backstory is kind of based on that. And I didn't actually realise, obviously, until we kind of got to it, the issues that he'd have with his father. Now, out of character, I have some issues with my father sometimes, and there was a little bit of character bleed, just a little bit. But that was purely me. That was like not anything else. But
you accidentally built
it in. I was like,
and you're just like, well,
therapy is required.
Yeah, for Ruby, it was my family is who I say it is, and I'm actually very lucky in my personal life. My family of chance, I get on very well with, I'm very close with, but there's a lot of adoption is quite common in my family of chance, so it's like this whole my family is who I say they are, and I will literally fight you if you say that someone is not family because there's no blood relation. That's kind of seeping in there a little bit. You got 4 new siblings, none of them are the same race as her. None of her 3 original siblings are the same race as her either.
And I don't play or separate, so Every time I do play, I play the dad character with a different class. That's literally
And
what I
I feel like Bucky
My Bucky
wasn't
wasn't a
really
dad.
the dad. Bucky was more like the beer uncle, if anything.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
I've only
He
played.
brought the noisy toys, or at least that was his role within the party. What his role might have been back home might have been something different.
He also
I've
threw
only
himself in the way
played-
of stuff for you lot.
with you, AD, as both players for the Christmas one shot last year, and I seem to recall a Goliath flattening somebody with a rock and saying "snowball."
I mean, Prince of King.
Eddie definitely has a playing type. 100%. It's not barbarian. What is it?
And all the NPCs are
Paladin,
northern.
barbarian, yeah. Like Colossus is Yorkshire. Whether it be in the desert, the snowy mountains, the highlands,
It's all
Yeah,
Yorkshire.
It's all
in the group chat, we like to send each other like photos. Like if I found a picture of a frosted over bamboo forest in Japan, and I sent it into the group chat. I was like, look, it's the Wei Dynasty, like kind of, and yeah, everyone in the Wei Dynasty, which looks a lot like Japan, sounds like Yorkshire.
Yorkshire.
Look,
Toa,
you don't-
Fantasy Scotland, Yorkshire.
Yorkshire.
I say I know then. There's
Desert
time.
actually
What do you want?
answer the-
Yorkshire.
To actually answer the question as well, to actually deal with character bleed, we generally have an out of character discussion either on the break or after the
I
session.
think that's actually a
generally.
separate question.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
okay.
we've just
If
we've just
you
gone
ever-
on a
yeah.
journey.
Gone full
Yeah.
circle.
If you
Yeah.
ever experience it, how do you deal with character bleed or the character getting really close to you? And you've obviously started answering it with the whole out of character talk.
Sometimes a good cry is worth it. Sometimes
Cry.
grow through what you go through. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, we've all gone through a journey.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh,
You're
no.
back. You're back. It was just my camera.
Fine.
But yeah, like sometimes you just gotta ride it out, check in with
Yeah.
the other party members, make sure. Like if we have one of us has a particularly hard session,
Mel.
I was gonna
No,
say, no.
but the thing is, I will cry at everything. That's
Yeah.
We need to
so,
get
like, for me
Kleenex
to
as a
actually
sponsor.
get like something that actually like I cry because I'm very much like attached to my character, but also I cry at everything.
So it's
So
kind
literally,
of,
like, it takes a lot to get me actually like
yeah. It's just
a
more,
bit of
it's more
character bleed.
casual. It's more casual than
casual cry,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Casual cry.
I think I'm so used to losing characters, not just like in a tabletop setting, but also in like a LARP setting, that I've just become numb to it at this point. So when Xandria died, I was like, well, we either bring her back or I continue playing this one. Either or, I'm not bothered. And everyone else in the group chat was like, but what do you want us to do? I don't care, guys. Just play it as is.
Yeah, but the
What
thing
do you
is,
want us
we
to do?
would have gone whatever way that you want as well.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's basically it's up to the player at that point to be like, what do you want to do with your character?
And I was
Because
like, I'm easy. I don't care. Bring her back or don't bring her back.
to which we were like, no, make a goddamn decision because we're not going to take your character out of this world or bring them
because
back
we could
in
have taken the
without your-
characters either way, you know.
Yeah.
We could have been like, you know, we'll do what the player wants to do, basically.
Yeah.
And yes, Eye to the Beholder, you cry at everything.
Yep.
So do I, Rich. So do I.
Yeah, I don't think we've had any major character bleeds. Like any, I don't think we've had a day where, right at the end of the session, we've had to do a serious check-in of, are you all right? Do you need like to talk about anything?
That time I almost killed Kess by mistake because I wasn't behind the wheel. But only Mel had to go through me going, I think I just killed Kess and I didn't mean
yeah.
to.
Oh
But yeah,
yeah.
that was
Lie.
kind of the only, oh fuck, because it had been so completely unplanned.
Yeah, because we finished the session, didn't we? At the
On it,
at the top,
yeah.
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 I'm such a bastard. I love it.
And that's when I kind of jumped in as well and was like, well, if we're gonna go, we're gonna go together.
I've had me bleed into Ruby more than I've had Ruby bleed into me so far, but then AD's not really gone to town on Ruby too much yet.
It's
But-
mostly Ari.
Yes, you wait.
Yeah.
Mostly
Oh,
Ari
my
gets
time
back
time
into it.
is coming. I don't doubt it. But at the moment, it's like Ruby's whole just ask for directions. Right. That's my own impatience showing there. It's like
Well,
obvious answer.
we had a similar conversation last time, like with the Q&A stuff is, and we've said it a few times in the early days, that like because it's Ari's back garden, it's quite difficult to avoid Ari being the focal point of it.
Yeah.
But you lot have so far anyway done great at being around it enough to still be main stars, if you know what I mean. So.
Well, also, I'm like,
Right,
I
I've
think
got
we're
a
all
scroll,
very
I can
aware of, let everyone else speak, which again was like demonstrated with all the NPCs the past couple of weeks. Obviously, everyone had their chance to speak, and I feel like we are all very good at doing that and giving each other space to do that.
Yeah, I'm just going to open a portal in a tree and just drag everyone to Tower and be like, right, no more Ravenholm for you.
I will continue to update you what happens in Ravenholm.
Go for it.
No, I feel that Kess needs an holiday. I'm gonna take Kess home and I'm gonna set him up with a new job training sheepdogs and lifting heavy things and being left alone.
Onyx and I were saying yesterday we need a beach episode, but then I was like, but then we'll lose Cass, because Cass will just dive in the sea and be gone.
He's like,
Gone, yeah.
adios, I am off to join my people. Fuck all y'all on the land.
Fuck it, Eddie, I accept it, I'm off. This fucking...
Glub glub, I'm away.
Give me the crown, I'm done. Guess is the Winter Soldier. Closer to Aquaman.
Yeah, like, he's a wee lamb, bless him.
A good bean, a very good bean. Much character development for Cass.
Yeah, like, Kess's original character was very...
Hoorah! Yes, sir. No, sir. Free back.
Well, it's because there wasn't really much to him at the
Yeah.
start. Like, the only thing that really we had fleshed out kind of back to go. It's been a long week and it's only like Tuesday. But to go kind of back to how much like backstory we provided, like the only real backstory that was game backstory per se was that Kess was Xandria's sibling and they grew up together and they fought together and that's what they did. And like between Jade and I, we sat and we like hashed out the sibling relationship because we were like, well, these two are so codependent, it's painful. Like, we need to get that bit down, and we worked really hard on that bit. So the first couple of sessions, Kess was just a plasticine man. He didn't really have much of anything.
Moth.
Yeah, but like he was getting built as the kind of stuff
Hitman with
came up
stick.
around him. Yeah, because we needed someone in that party who could take a hit and hit man with stick.
But it's also the fact that Kess has gone from being very quiet, doesn't want to do the talkie, to now being the front man for a lot of talkie.
Yeah. And Xandria as well, to be fair. Like, Xandria's come a very long way from the beginning as well. She might still have,
I feel like she might be doubling
her.
back real hard right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's
yeah.
doubling back. She's had enough of Ravenholm. She's tried. She's been civilized. She's been political, to an extent with the formalities and the trying to do the diplomatic shit, and it hasn't panned out how she wanted it. To which point she's now like, right, well, fuck you.
There
Farewell.
had been a distinct chance of the campaign going somewhere weird, depending on how that big diplomatic meeting went. Because we might have been seeing a lot more of how the Fiends were running their side of the battle. Let's put it that way.
Cloudy with a chance of Eldritch Blast.
Yep. But yeah, they're good eggs to an extent.
Forgiven
I've got a
Valley.
question for AD.
Great.
My
AD, how
question
did
was-
it feel? How did it feel running all those people doing the NPCs the past 2 weeks and trying to control all those people?
I was glad that the 3 extras, because there would have been 3 more NPCs, I'm glad they were too busy to do it, because I just don't think it worked. The 5-on-5 works all right from my perspective. Doing it in one session was never going to happen. Like, I'd planned it to be one session, but I'd never. It's not like I didn't care that it wasn't going to be wrapped up in a session, if you know what I mean. I just thought in my head it'd be cool to do something like that. 2 was enough. I wouldn't have pushed it any further. Wrangling that amount of people was easy because of the people that I was wrangling, if you know what I mean. Like, you don't know how to play D&D and be on screen. I've larped with them all. No one did anything like breaking of the stream, if you know what I mean. It wasn't like people started effing and jeffing or
Yeah.
you know, turning up pissed. But yeah, we're all right. We're all
Not
right.
out of character.
It was I found it all right. It was easy stuff. So if you'd have been,
I think it helped as well, like having, like you said, having people that you either know or like have played on the streams before, for example.
So you lot know your characters. The NPCs had enough briefing. Like, I didn't have to give them much. I gave them an outcome-ish of what I wanted. Be a friend, be a dick, be an enemy, be a wizard, be a minotaur, be a,
Your wizard, that's an enemy to me.
But yeah, like, there wasn't much. They got to roll some dice and throw in some ideas. You guys obviously got to roll some dice. It was a nice little experiment. I think it'd be harder to do in person with that many people.
Yeah.
The stream slows you down because you know the whole waiting to talk thing. And as we saw, if someone takes more of the mic, then you Wise Guest ended up as Fenris from Dragon Age.
Mages!
So
But yeah, so it was.
Magic touch that it has not spoiled. Yes.
God.
It was.
So true.
It was all right. It was all right.
I have a question about the named NPCs. So Rise Harden. How old is Rise Harden? Because Kess had said, I've seen more summers and winters than you can imagine. And they had said, oh, you have not. But I could have swore that they were human, and
How
therefore
do you know
not
they're human?
120 odd years old.
How do you know they're human?
Because you told
I
us
just
they were.
assumed.
Did you check?
they're from the house of
Lilies.
like lilies, so yeah.
In fact, Luke.
The vampire house.
Sorry. Kesfion
Cult.
knows. Kesfion
Cult.
knows why they're older.
Does he?
Yep.
Does Cass know that Cass knows that?
Yeah.
Luke doesn't know, so.
If Kesfion wasn't too busy robbing horses, Kesfion would remember.
Oh, big gross frog lady. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
she can get.
That's why they're older than you.
Because they're gross
Because
frog
of Hypnotoad.
Hypnotoad did it.
Okay, so that makes sense then.
But all Kes
older
talked
than-
about was nothing, because he was like, I don't want to talk about the horses.
Yeah, nobody wants to.
That was a curveball. I was like, well, that's a piece of paper. I'll just screw it and throw over my shoulder. Never known.
Yep.
So yeah.
You me both.
It
me
was
both.
glorious.
Oh,
keep having to remind
Kaida,
myself.
I got some bad news for you, but Ruby's about to find out that that it's open Corbin season.
Yeah, It
Yeah.
is pretty much open Corbin season. If we're going to do anything before we leave this godforsaken nation, it's open Corbin.
Corbin is a tool that would get the
Don't
job
care.
done, but nobody wanted
Don't
to
care.
use.
Yeah,
I feel like you could just have left it. Corbin was a tool.
Yeah, I don't know if you planned on coming back for that, Kaida, but
I wouldn't.
Ruby absolutely does not murder people, but Ruby absolutely wants a word with Corbin.
Corbin.
No,
is
apparently
across,
Harry's got his eye on Rise Heart and it's fine.
Corbin is across 2 campaigns.
Corbin's gonna be across 2 fucking continents in a minute.
Oh no, Kino, don't be freaked by how much we hated
No,
you.
we love you. We hate
Characters
you.
hate you. Players love you.
Yeah. I hope we got that across enough that like
Yeah,
we're literally
it's-
it's your character.
Yeah.
It's not you. Please.
plan on being your twat of an enemy. Good. That's how we like it. Give us something to work at. Because originally it was Ulrich. Ulrich was the person we were like, we must kill him. And now we're all like,
But yeah,
Ulrich's promised to the sword.
Your
like...
mate, even
who's
those
not
in your
promised
own
to that
house,
sword?
Who's not promised that sword, Harry?
even those in your own house, Kaida, have been like, look, I would never raise a hand against a member of my house, but don't look at that shiny rack of swords over there. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, hint, hint.
I hear he cracks a lot.
Betterman's too honourable and noble for such a
Yeah.
thing. But assassins.
Assassins, on the other hand.
Ain't nobody being assassinated.
I got a question for
We don't
Harry.
do murder.
Oh no.
What are you doing about your sword?
Yeah, what are you doing now?
he's ignoring it as long as
Harry is
possible.
full on Kesfion in that sword. Just like, put it in a box. Let it
exist.
In the box, in the box.
What, like he's doing with Andrea and the conversation that they need to have? Yeah, that one.
Oh, so many conversations.
They need to have a conversation. Me and Jade know that. Do the characters? No, they like to run away from stuff.
I mean, it literally just have not had a chance. Since Andrea
No.
had been brought back, it was immediately
Well, it's
get
been,
the
what,
City
a day and a half?
Ravens, do the resurrection,
Yeah.
go and see Lord Romric, and then...
To be fair, he was coming to knock on your door, and then Elva happened.
And
Yeah.
then everyone else. Elva always seems to happen at just the
I know,
convenient
right?
moment that he needs to talk to Xandria. I don't know if you've noticed
Sapphire then. Oh my god, that was so
convenient
funny.
Elva drop. Every time. What's that? We need to plan something with Xandria. Time to drop Elva in.
Well, next session or two, you will have moments to... Toodles will hold back time for you.
I mean, I have a feeling before Ari gets to
If I could
Xandria,
hold
Kess will be getting to Drea and just being like, "What's wrong with your face? It's wet."
I feel like Kess is aware that Xandria is capable of crying. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, aware, but probably not certain why. Because Xandria doesn't cry.
Yeah, what's even worse for Andrea, Ruby's going to be really nice about it.
That's gonna
No.
piss her right off.
Time to crack all those smites.
Xandria
Eldritch
Xandria
smites.
doesn't do
Eldritch smite.
Xandria doesn't do emotions. When Kess died in the
Kess
Indie
didn't
world.
die.
He died. Disappeared.
No, the only
We
person
didn't
that ever...
lose Cass, we just misplaced him.
Yeah,
But do you know what I mean? Like
Kess didn't die.
there was no emotion other than sheer determination of snatching him back.
Mabonix cannot wait to see the fireworks that are going to be that conversation.
Harry and Xandria.
Oh boy.
Boy.
It'll be an
Alright.
interesting one because again we'll
Alright.
both be very much in character at that point.
What's
It's
the
been, like-
range on Eldritch Blast again? Just so that the rest of us know to be out.
120 feet.
Cool, just so we can be out of the blast radius.
They're either going to end up sleeping together or on different continents, refusing to ever acknowledge the other one.
No.
even
They're never gonna
existed.
actually sleep together. Let's face it.
Xandria is pissed at Ari. Like
It's either going to be one of those
So
really
much.
angry, screaming at each other, getting in each other's face things, or they're just going to be like, fuck you, well, fine, and then never talk again.
It'll be a slap fight. Like it'll
know.
literally be a verbal slap fight.
Yeah, no,
I know it already.
Yeah.
I think there will be something really important that needs us somewhere else at that point.
I'll get a roll 20 map. I'll
Oh,
be fine.
Alright, Carol.
Luke. Me and you got plans, buddy.
Yeah, I still think the fish plan was a better plan.
I'm at the
but-
start, you're going to finish it. That's the deal, right?
On that note, it's coming up past, so we're gonna have a quick break. We're gonna go get a drink. Well, I'm gonna go get a drink and have a little bio break. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. So if you're in the chat and there's other stuff you want to know, even if you know as outlandish as you want to ask, just ask it, and we'll do our best to answer it. Whether it's aimed at me, the characters, the players, etc. Players, you got about 10-15 minutes to come up with stuff if you want to ask of each other or me. Blah 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 blah. So we'll see you in about 10 minutes, kids. We'll be back. Enjoy the animation you see before you as we return to our seats. They can hear me. I hope.
Well, we enjoyed it, even if they can't.
Yeah. Hello, chat. Hopefully a few of you are still with us. Welcome back. We're Heavyweight Gaming and we're doing a QA. Basically, Fables Among Titans, the campaign we've been running for the last 57 sessions. Welcome back.
50 of those were one day.
That is almost accurate. It's Christmas, we're chilling out. Our lovely Sapphire's not with us tonight, so we just thought we'd chill out, talk, geek, and ask questions of what's happened in the last few months with the campaign. And those that have been watching it along with us, one, fucking appreciated. And two, if you've got any questions yourselves for the lovely coconuts you see before you, then please throw them in the chat. Players, did you enjoy your break?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Did you?
That was alright, I got a cup of tea.
That's nice.
There you go.
Slapped our
Sorted.
lass's bum, she threw daggers at me, threatened me with an inch of my life. Turns out the house is not big enough for me to run away in. Not that I can run very far anyway. But...
So, standard break then.
yeah. As soon as the kids are in bed. Anyway, enough of that.
We like it when the kids are in bed. It's quiet.
Yeah, this push to talk bollocks, I don't like it.
Alright, I got a question.
Hey-o,
Yes.
hey-o.
What is everybody's happy ending for their character?
Not you, Harry. Not you. Harry, don't answer that. This is not
Oh,
Thailand.
it is after 9 o'clock. So if we want to matron this, then
I have avoided asking Harry if he wants an happy ending for 57 sessions. And you just
It's about
throw
the
it
only
out there.
thing you've managed, but yeah.
but-
What was it? The first session? I'm gonna roll to see how many of these NPCs you've slept with in this bar. Oh wait, there's like 8. Yeah. Okay.
I
Cool.
rolled a D100, so you did pretty well.
You set the tone for this one, not me.
You slept with your sword teacher. Don't pin this on me.
hang on. If Ari slept with his sword teeth, the power imbalance there—that's on Nikolai.
Well, Mel specifically told me it was Harry that wooed Nikolai.
He still should have known better than to sleep with a student.
Have you met Harry?
But then Elva wooed Ari, so you know.
Elva, Brock, Harry's poor little heart with a text message.
Yep.
Andrea,
A D&D
what was
text
her-
message. yeah, sorry.
what was your like quote unquote happy
Ideal ending,
the,
then. if
the
we're-
good ending, if you will.
The Herald for
Weirdly,
4 seasons.
the good ending has recently fucking changed. It was pretty solid for about 54
Yeah.
sessions.
Collect them all.
So it was essentially she was going to catch them all the seasons and be, you know,
The champion of.
champion of
Ultimate
seasons.
Pokemon.
Yeah, she was going to be champion.
Sounds
of
like a
seasons.
fucking Zelda game.
I mean, I may get sued, but
It's Andrea, champion of seasons.
champion of seasons. But that seems kind of out of grasp now with everything that's going on. So I'd say Xandria's best ending at this point would probably to be cured of whatever the fuck is actually afflicting her.
Just writing
I haven't
this
seen her cough since she's come back.
And it's true, she's not coughed since she came back, but that doesn't mean
That
that.
doesn't mean she would.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think that's
Does it do anything
probably
strenuous?
the best outcome we could get for Xandria, because she doesn't want for much in the world
to be
So-
away from Ravenholm.
apart from to be away from Riverhome. Yeah, to be cured of whatever it is that is actually ailing her, and to be able to go back home and, you know, maybe lead her tribe would probably be the best thing that could happen now.
And immediately start a war on Ravenholm.
Oh god,
Nah,
the
that's
thing-
old hat. Someone's already done that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Xandria, I think.
Ruby.
What about Ruby?
Well, again, you see, Ruby's quite a simple person. Mainly, she just wants.
World peace.
Everyone
much.
sit down and shut up.
Both of those things, right? They're quite, if everybody just stopped being dicks to each other, then everybody could be happy. So
It'll be a long
at this
campaign,
rate, she's
Ruby,
going
I'm
to end
just
up as like a cult leader. But no, really, Ruby's ideal life would be what was in store for her had she not met the party. Eventually, she'd have gone back to Toa. She would have worked on a farm for the rest of her life, trained champion sheepdogs, because when you can actually talk to them, the training goes a bit smoother.
Some dogs are dicks. I'm just saying.
Not to Ruby. Everybody likes Ruby. She had a mouse that lived in her hair, for God's sake.
Dead now. What?
Yeah, she'd get Jeremiah back, and she'd go and live in Toa, and she would look after her sheepies, and all her friends would be happy, and she would get to see her friends, and just chill out, basically. It's a boring one, but
I love how you came up with the question. What would be a happy ending for your D&D adventurer character? Oh, cool. Yeah. What about you? Who asked the question? Just a pie and a pint.
well, that's what I'm asking, because I'm guessing like everyone else's answer is more interesting than mine, which is pie and a pint.
Aries has
It's
changed.
pretty bagging,
Oh,
to be
well,
honest.
That's the DM's happy ending. I don't know about the.
Aries has changed so much. Like, literally at the beginning, it would have been a happy ending. We'll leave it at that. Oh my god, like, it's changed like multiple times, I think.
Killing Zandria? Is that on your list of happy endings?
I mean, ideally, you'd like to at least be on speaking terms with her. Be quite
lot of
nice.
children are
We
calling
might
it
need
these
to
days.
go beyond level 20 for that, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Not just be on punching terms,
Obviously, Kida.
But yeah, his has changed multiple times through the campaign, but I think as well because obviously it's kind of been Ravenholm based, or obviously a lot more.
I like that
He's
Harry
very-
started without any options. Like when you first brought Harry in, Harry had no options of like the happy ending or an ending. Harry didn't see past like Tuesday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Happy hour.
He
at
had
the next
no
tavern.
long-term plan
Yeah.
whatsoever. He was just like, well, if I can, get a bed for the night, sorted.
Yeah.
Cool. If I don't have to work too hard for it, even better.
Ari banging for Ruth.
Wow. Just sat outside with a wooden sign.
That's literally what he was doing. He was, a mercenary apparently, but he was a bit of a shit one.
Yeah, you definitely. Like
Once
you
you can
literally
run.
session one, dropped the knife off and left. That's like brilliant. You've got so many.
Like, I
pistols.
literally had him as being a shit mercenary on purpose, so he'd have another reason to be like, actually, no, there's a better way of really doing this. Because I had a good mercenary in my other character, so I had a shit mercenary. It's fine.
Mixing that up.
Yeah. But yeah, his has changed so much over time. I think just not dying would be quite nice for him personally right now.
We're not dying until when? Because if it's not dying at all, then we start to get back into Cult of Lilies bullshit.
No, Aries, that's not really longevity wise. He's kind of got a few more under his belt than.
Not that he knows this, but
No, he does. You're the
He does,
note
but he's
taker.
denying it to himself. Come on, we all
I was
know
like,
this.
it has been said explicitly
It has been
to
said.
his face.
Yes, it has.
In
but
no
he
uncertain
he
terms.
puts it in that little box with everything else that's in the little box.
Look, get your
So-
own coping mechanism.
I need NPCs just to carry all lots of bloody crates around.
Right.
What are you talking about? Zandria's not creating anything.
What do you think's in Ruby's 4,000 pockets?
Jeremiah's cousins. I don't know.
I mean, probably somewhere at some point a little mouse is going to pop out the pocket and she's just going to be like, oh, hello, forgot about you. No, I'm either going to have to get Jeremiah back or I'm going to have to get another little friend because...
So you go down to the geckos. So you go down there.
I didn't mean it to happen, but Ruby is less patient without something or like some little friend grounding her.
You mean Jiminy Cricket?
I mean, Jeremiah, most northern mouse of mice.
I'll do, Ruby.
Black cap and all. Yeah.
What about Kess's happy ending?
I think Kess's best ending, or what he, at his current trajectory with what he knows of the world right now, his idea of the best possible outcome is back to Copper Forest, back to doing what he's told by someone else, helping rebuild the Copper Forest where he can, using what he sees as his best skills to aid in the regrowth of the area, as in he can hit stuff really hard a lot of times.
You chop that wood.
Yeah.
You could become a woodcutter.
Piss off. I don't need
We'll get
to...
Sandra a little red cloak.
No, we've had enough of the red lady. That's. But yeah, like for him, it would be like Jade and I kind of talked about it. The siblings didn't expect to ever return to Sarut when they left.
You said right early on that like you'd accepted it as your fate, as it were.
Yeah.
They'd been sent to aid the Copper Forest, and they were going to aid the Copper Forest, or literally die trying. And they both have. Didn't stick super well. But that's kind of in his head anyway right now, is be the place you can be of most use, and you were told it was your duty to help the Copper Forest, and now Whisper has told you that's the mantle you've taken up, so...
Duty feels quite strongly intrinsic to Kess.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously third party opinion of happy ending, I could see Kesvion being extremely happy if he's fulfilling his duty, whatever that duty is at the time. Like, do you know what I mean? Like having it interfered with or sidestepped. To me, again, obviously I add spin to it because but it feels like the shit that's happening around Kess is preventing committing to duty, and that's why we get to see Kess now and then get a bit mouthy. Not mouthy, you know what I mean? Loud.
No, it's.
I don't
guys,
mean like. I don't
shut
mean,
up.
I don't mean like from the street chav mouthy. I just mean like he's more vocal. He's more at the front. I know you were at the front fight wise and stuff, but it's like ever since that. When was it Okarian that was like, I was talking about leading, and like, where will you be standing? In the middle. Are you attacking first or letting him at you? I hit him first. Well, you're leading. Fuck you. But you can see that sense of duty being adhered to, and when it gets interfered with, I can see Kesvion, whether deliberately or not, but it looks cool. Kesvion going, no, you're frustrating me now because you're interfering with my purpose. So
we have a job to do, guys.
Yeah. Why are you all over there when we need to be over here?
He would have whistle stopped the entire campaign given the chance. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see now.
Do not
Ruby's...
pass go. Do not collect 200 gold. Just.
Keep on.
I can see Ruby starting a cult and Kess being her enforcer.
We've got the AU that nobody asked for.
It's the cult of shut the fuck up and be nice to each other.
You've been giving these lot Kool-Aid since you turn up. What you doing, Ruby? I make him a brew.
Breaking brews. It's now a good time to say that I just, like, the penny has literally just dropped, and I've now just realised that the fucking deities of Ravenholm is Little Red Riding Hood's story.
Are you fucking kidding me? Jade!
I'm actually not kidding. And literally,
Oh my
had just
god.
when Ruby said about getting the little red cape, and you said about the red lady, and then I went in my head,
First
hang on a
or
minute.
second session I was in, we
Hooded
spoke to
wolf.
the red lady, and Ruby said, "Oh, Little Red Riding Hood talks too much, don't she?"
And you were like,
Was it Mabel X
not-
that said it earlier? Or was
I'm
it
oblivious.
Kestra? Eddie, do you plan stuff that they don't? Yeah, that right there.
I'm so oblivious to
the four
Beth
gate.
gets her hair cut, and then like it takes me days to look at her and go, "They've had a haircut."
Woodcutter. Woodcutter.
Wolf,
The
woodcutter,
Care not
the
for Ravenholm.
granny.
I care not
everything's
for
based
Ravenholm.
on fairy tales.
We got Goldilocks. We
even-
fought Goldilocks and the Three
Yeah.
Bears.
I care
Literally.
not for Ravenholm, and I have paid zero attention to any of the deities.
What? It wasn't even complicated. Like it's not
Jesus
like.
wept.
Oh, I didn't go far
Like-
out on naming them. You know what I mean? This is
No.
the Grey Wolf.
It didn't click.
And the woodcutter saving Little Red Riding Hood. Oh god! Like, do you know what? We're playing chuffing Sonic next campaign.
See you soon, mate bunnies.
But you see, Luke has said that in the group chat. He said
See
it
you
has
later,
to be
man.
Ulrich and the Red
Times.
Lady because the woodcutter saves Little RedRiding Hood.
Oh,
And you-
I don't. You can
She
put it in
doesn't
front of
read
me,
what
I
I
still
say.
won't say it.
she doesn't listen to us.
See you later, Mabonix. Thank you.
Bye, Maybonnix.
Ah.
It honestly, like, if you could hear what was going on in my head when I realised that, it was one of those dink. There's the penny drop, followed by me going, "Oh shit!"
The wee hamster running in his little treadmill.
That hamster died years ago.
Like, I know we can be absolutely stupid as players sometimes,
The-
looking at the dragon puzzle.
The wee music just in my head there, just do. Do.
All Jade sees is you want me to roll a d20? Okay. Eldritch Blast.
I just, yeah.
Who's that deity you follow? Paladin person.
Yeah.
I
Honestly,
pray to
the
whatever
other-
gives me smite.
last week, I had to pause for a minute because I couldn't remember if he was called the Woodcutter, the Huntsman, the Wood Hunter.
Didn't you get sent like
The
all
Wood
the stuff from AD as
Hunter.
well?
The wood hunter. I'm sorry. What's his profession? He hunts wood.
Hey,
What?
That
What?
wood.
I mean, he does. In a way, he does.
To be
Okay.
fair,
Harry.
Harry's a wood hunter. Yeah.
Going back to this, I just realised it was Little Red Riding Hood. When you couldn't remember what he was called, you went through all the things that character is called
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
different versions of that fairy tale.
Yep. That's exactly what Jade did. Yep.
You noticed that there's a
You
meme
went-
we
you
send.
went
There's a meme
to
that we
his
send
realm
each other
in
in
the
the
divine.
chat, and all it says is we just keep saying is who's got the brain cell and why is it Ruby?
Yeah. It was like in my head, I was like, hang on, Woodcutter, Wolf, Red Lady. But there's no grammar. There's shit. throat.
Yeah, it was the old Jezzery, you tit. Jade.
You also got sent, I'm presuming, information from AD on the different deities that you could have looked for.
The fair didn't get it because they're not from here.
I
Oh,
didn't
but
get it.
I didn't get
creatively
them.
said.
I know which trees each of my siblings
T.S. my
follow.
love, I don't know her. I don't think she knows
That's
you, to be
Jade.
Gets her
fair.
haircut, and it takes me like nearly 2 weeks. By which point it's already grown back, and I go,
Well,
"Got a haircut."
we say stuff on a weekly basis, and it still takes her 57 sessions plus Q&As.
To be fair,
I think, in fact,
for,
I
like,
think we've
for
talked
Xandria,
about the fact that
it
we
wasn't
like that it
really-
tied into this in a Q&A previously that you were present for.
Yeah,
You said present.
but
Present in body.
wasn't really part of Xandria, so like didn't
So,
really pay
Tune in
attention
for the next
to
50
it.
sessions because who knows what games Andrew's playing. Sandria's
Cluedo,
off
right?
on her own little. I can't wait for it wrap up. You lot are answering questions.
Did anyone
Sandria's
ever
like,
watch-
When did we do that? What dragon?
Did anyone ever watch Spaced? There's a bit where a character goes to a job interview and they ask her a complicated question and all she can hear is the magic roundabout thing.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
That is me.
That's just Sandra.
That's fair,
It's-
Vicky,
yeah.
That's fair.
No, not Zandria. Just
Jade.
Jade. Just Jade. It's either that or it's the Wii
Keda's
music.
got a really important question. I don't believe it
Please.
for a second.
The Wii music is
Oh.
actually just living in my head rent free.
Oh, alright. And TS My Love's got one. So, seeing as TS My Love asked the question and didn't just say I have a question, I have a question. Are you going to remake The Wall?
No,
They can do what they like. Ruby's not having it.
fuck the wall.
Not that I'm going to prevent them from rebuilding the wall. It's just I'm not a stonemason and
It's not on my
Ruby
CV.
specifically is not going to remake
It's
the
not on my
wall.
CV,
She's not
yeah.
some-
there's
I'm
pretty
not sure
much
my
is
love's question is
she
that literal. Are you laying the brick?
basically it is kind of that's Ruby's kind of mulish because she spent a lot of the sovereign Rabe basically being made to feel like she was too young and stupid to be of any use. So if they want help building the rules, she's just going to be like, oh well, no, you don't need me, do you? Because I'm too young and stupid. So sort of spy.
I think Ruby and Ari need a little chat as well.
Look, Ari, you just stop chatting everybody up, please.
Oh, do you really think that would
Well.
work on Ruby?
No, they.
Nah.
You know why Ruby left Tower, right?
Jade done. What pizza?
Ruby
think
can
it's-
take Ari in a fight. We all know this.
If it's one-on-one, if you bring a friend, Harry gets worse. If Harry brings a friend, Harry gets worse. Harry needs you all by himself. What pizza toppings would your characters get on pizza?
What characters?
I assume it's characters, otherwise Katie
Yeah.
could just ask you on Facebook. Xandra's is probably humans, specifically Raven's on humans. See example here, biscuits.
Exactly. Oh.
Problem.
Mushrooms. Sorry, that's Luke specifically, not Cass. Luke does not care for mushrooms.
No. I think Kess would probably
viscerally.
eat whatever you put in front of
Soldier
him.
life.
I mean, that's pretty much Ruby grew up on a farm. She'll eat whatever she's given, but
But probably given the option, something that if Ari was to try and steal a slice of, he probably would lose his taste buds from just how spiced it was. Because I imagine like
habanero
siblings
chilies and
are used to like food which has been seasoned, whereas
Yeah.
Ravenholm, I feel like that's maybe not hit to ground
I think
quite
we,
yet.
we explored this at one point in like one of our like little we did like some little sort of questions like role play question type things, and I think Ari's favourite food was just like
Steak
basically
ale pie.
yeah, basically steak and ale pie.
Oh no, we did this. It was sweetbreads, wasn't it? Because Ari's really posh and really spoiled, and then Ruby ruined them for him, going, well, you know which part of a cow that is, right? Because turns out Ari's super squeamish.
I was gonna say it would be something like really fancy on pizza. So
Something that you wouldn't put on
Truffle
pizza.
oil
yeah.
and
yeah.
Yeah, the siblings would definitely have like Moroccan
Spicy.
style pizza, like spice and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
None of this. I've put a bay leaf near it, and therefore we've seasoned
It's too
your food.
spicy.
It's milk, Ari. Shut up.
Yeah. The nectar of a moo milk, Harry.
see, I think that Ruby's probably never really been exposed to spicy foods, but Druid con saves are pretty high, so she'd probably they'd be like, try this with the mega spicy peppers, and she'll be like, oh, it's alright, got a kick to it, innit? And just
I'm
can't.
dying on the floor like give me water.
Yeah, I reckon like a spiced lamb pizza or something, spiced chicken. Very Moroccan.
Yeah. But probably just about any pizza that was put in front, because there is no feeding Kess whatsoever.
Yeah, you want Kes to eat. You don't go, "What do you want for dinner?" You just go, "Sit down, eat."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And eventually he might stop.
Yeah, you don't really get a choice when you live in the desert what you eat. You eat what's in front of you.
Do any of your characters, moving on from the pizza question,
Pizza.
see family in your future? That doesn't mean mum, dad, babies.
Yeah.
I just mean a family.
I'd like to say so, but I am still slightly concerned by the death of parents when we were in the spirit-y dead realm.
That was another curveball. No one checking in on that.
Yeah.
I tell you, a big curveball. Your lot's choice to walk everywhere. In all seriousness.
We tried
To get us fucking horses, okay?
that immense side of comedy set aside. That was because my first instinct whenever I play, if there's anyone, can you cast magic? Yeah. Can we teleport over there?
Yeah, but none of us have the ability to do that, or at least we didn't.
But it can
So
still
that
be
kind of
done.
made sense.
Sapphire had to remind Ruby that she could turn into a horse.
Horse, yeah.
For Xandria to ride, because I was like, I don't know, I've got a unicorn, I guess.
Yeah. Like,
So yeah, family.
I
You're like,
it's not quite the same for Kess because Kess likes to swim and stuff like that. But Xandria, when I was doing Xandria, like when I was making up what would make Xandria, one of the things I like the idea of is basically her not being okay with like flying or being on a ship. She likes to have her feet firmly on the ground. She doesn't like not having her feet on the ground. Very similar to what's his face from The Mummy, the oh my god, what's his name?
Brendan Fraser?
No, the
brother.
Secret Order guys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh god, what's he called? Hang on.
I know the one you're talking about.
Not Imhotep.
No, that's the
Not
mummy.
Imhotep. Is it Ardeth? Was that
Yeah.
right? Yeah, Ardeth. Yeah, very, very similar to him. Who
She likes doing things under her own speed when she can. Like she likes to be in control of where she's going and how she's getting there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which leads to what about family?
You'd asked us about moving around.
You said you were surprised by the fact that we walk everywhere.
Yeah, but the original question was family. And then
Yeah,
it
but
just...
then you derailed us.
But then you derailed
How dare
us,
you.
and
How
I didn't get a chance. Ruby actually does. She doesn't know who.
Yeah, I can see
when
that
or
from
where,
Ruby.
but-
Just the Highlander life. Yeah.
But yeah, partly it's because that's very much the culture that she's grown up in, but also Ruby likes caring for people, and Ruby probably very much does enjoy the idea of like having a dozen babies and
Well,
that
that'll
kind
wrap
of like family kind of. I mean, they're probably not all hers. Like she'd just be going around like adopted, like Cass is her
It's mother
adopted
duck
son
type
now.
thing. Yeah.
Cass is 100 years older than her. He is now her adopted son. It's happened. But yeah,
Some high cheekbones.
going around picking up strays, creating a little flock. Yeah, Ruby will absolutely be quite family orientated. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Drea has any real plans for anything like that because it's very much with living in the desert.
You
The
drive
next
your
day could
family.
be your last sort of day, so you never really planned ahead for the future. You just lived each day as it came and lived it to the best of your ability. So
But do you not interpret that as being long-lived creatures? Do you
Yeah,
still
I
live
guess.
that way? Because you've got 100 years on you, so next day
Oh, yeah.
could be your last is slightly less threatening than someone who only lives 20, 30, 40
yeah,
years.
yeah, it is, but at the same time, like, you just take things as they come regardless.
Yeah.
Because you're either going to live a long time or you're going to die
So
the next
it'd
day.
be less of a planned family, more of family's not a no, but not a like it's not a planned thing. Like
Yeah, it'll
family in
happen
the
if it
tribe just
happens,
happens.
sort of
Okay.
thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can see this like because of that kind of tribal family, both the Sebs being like quite comfortable with
No,
and around like
TS, my love.
children, babies, because like everyone
Right.
takes turns looking after. Like if somebody, like if they went back to Tower and it's all like Ruby's like, this is my family of 1,000 halflings and this is a mad family, and somebody just went, here,
No,
Cass,
this is
hold
an
this.
army.
Yeah. And somebody just went, oh, Cass, hold this baby. He'd be like, yeah, all right, hold the baby.
Yeah.
Like, not that fussed by it. Whereas Ari would be like,
How? With what?
why
I think
does it
Ari
move?
literally, like I said at the beginning, he had no plans barring that night, basically, when he first started. Now he's maybe looking like a week or two in the future, but he's not really looking long term.
I don't think
Like-
Ari's had a chance to look long term. You've
No.
been
Nobody
so
has.
relaxed that then getting thrown into this, like even from the first, yeah, we're gonna go step into the forest. Ari's been like, excuse me, and just tumbled forward basically.
Yeah.
I mean, the siblings handle pace differently because they're long-lived, and desert life is either very fast or incredibly slow. Their
Time
role,
doesn't make sense. Time
Yeah, it's
is
just-
hilarious.
yeah. One moment you're a little bit out of breath because you've been doing some stuff. Next moment you can't remember last time you breathed. Hey, up, Andrea.
Just say things.
And I'm assuming, like with Ruby, it feels very much if there's noise, she's comfortable because it means stuff's happening.
Yeah.
Like,
That's why she doesn't like sleeping
rarely
inside. I mean,
quiet,
that's
yeah.
partly the not liking to sleep inside thing is partly a druid thing, is because she likes to be surrounded by.
everything,
nature.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
But it's one room with no one else in it, and you're expected to sleep there,
yeah.
and there's all that space with just one person in it. Why?
But now she's starting to go, oh, peace and quiet, though. Actually, maybe there was something to this.
I think speaking of like the single room, I think staying at Lord Romerick's is the first time the siblings haven't shared a room.
Yeah.
Yeah, everywhere else it's always been we're in together.
We're next to each other on the floor. Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure where you met Sapphire, there was a moment that, I don't know, Ari wanted to talk to one of you. I think I'm misremembering something. Carry on with your
It's,
lads.
it's pretty much
Yeah.
always been siblings
Yeah.
next to each other because again that's kind of what they have back home. Very
Kes
much similar to
was
Ruby. There's
basically
no
just
single rooms. Everyone
Yes.
sleeps.
Slightly taller, stabbier shadow.
How does
Uh,
Kess see family?
He's got family.
But I mean,
He's- But that's how.
taking on.
If someone was to say, how do you see, like, and Kess, what about you and family? He's like, that one. See the one that's trying to kill that guy with the ponytail and
What if they all
the
die?
rapier? That's if they all die, then that happens.
Fuck them, they had the chance.
But
Gonna solo it for
Bas-
the rest of my life.
But he left the desert expecting that him and his sister were going to go to the copper forest, and it was probably just going to be an all-out. You're going to fight because they're going to pull people from all the different tribes. Like for all they knew that they were going is they were getting not conscripted, but
Yeah.
basically
Politely
to join
asked.
ranks, and therefore that's when the Jesuit requests you by name. You, regardless of that being your season, you show up, because that's some big stuff right there. So he doesn't plan beyond the I have been given a task.
Duty.
This task is going to get done, and
Married to your duty, I understand.
The duty's a big thing for the siblings,
Yeah.
though. Like, with them having to protect the Oasis, being asked to go and protect the Copper Forest. Yeah. It didn't seem a bizarre request, but having what's happened, I'm not sure about Kes, but Sandra is a bit sort of like, why specifically us?
I do have a question for the siblings. You both stated many times, resurrection's not a thing in the tribe. When you die, you die. You both brought each other back and chased it.
Because they weren't finished their duty.
Duties, yeah, that was the exact reason.
That's a cop.
No, but Jade and I sat and we talked about it. Because we were like, well, yeah, it's not if you go down, because there's usually not time.
So how do you see your
resurrect.
duty now with the Copper Forest? That it's
Well,
been regrown?
how does Luke see it, knowing what Luke knows, or how does Kess see it, knowing what Kess knows? Because those are two very different things right now.
How does Luke see it?
Luke sees it as Kess is going to be really lost. He's going to be incredibly untethered because taking over from Xandria out of necessity of what it was, he was of the opinion that she made and would make the better Landslord, and he was happy to stay by and aid in whatever way he could. But he also knew that there had to be a Landslord, and he sees that probably in hindsight they were quite selfish in leaving the forest when they did to kind of meet their own ends, and therefore he owes it to them because he did shirk duty in his eyes. That you should have been there. Even if the forest had to fall, you should have been beside Toodles to aid in getting it back up and running. You should have been beside the Jesuit to do that. You shouldn't have been faffing about with stupid humans wall, and because you were sent to go and do something, and you decided to go and do something else, and that wasn't your job, and now you got to deal with the fallout of it. So the fact that there is a distinct chance that he's going to go there determined to do right. It's why he was so forgiving of Berrimond, because he was like, yeah, no, you made the decision that you did, and you had to play through with the hand that dealt you, similar to how he's feeling about it at the moment. So the fact that he's going to go and essentially, for his feeling and understanding of it, be rejected for trying to stand into that place that he feels that he should have stepped into beforehand, he will see it as because he did fail, that she would choose what is essentially a youngling over. Not that he bears Geryon any ill will. Clearly, the fact that he has survived this long, and it probably makes more political sense for it to be someone of human background to stand by to help out, especially when he's with the Winter Fae. He thinks, you know what, another human that didn't keep their words, and now the fiends are all after you. Well, hell, fucking mend you. So, yeah, he's going to have a hard time, because if Toodles says that she would rather have someone else, he's not going to stand in the way of that.
Fucking love it. I cannot wait.
You're a bastard.
I have no defense, but I cannot wait.
And this is why Ruby wants to find Cass a nice house and a nice pet dog and give
Doesn't
him a
want a
big
nice
hug.
house that's a nice pet dog. Wants a nice big pond. Never to piss
It'll
off.
have a very big pond. It'll have a
Fishing
big
for the rest of
pond.
their life.
Pet gecko, and a friend, and just and a big hug.
But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, I think, for him, because
So excited. It's the closest I've come to getting that with Kess, if you know what I mean.
yeah,
Like,
because that would be his, in his eyes, his good ending would be.
Yeah.
So to come so close to it in a way, and then almost have it refused, will be interesting. But you might do something else entirely. You might throw another curveball in that. So who knows? You are nothing if not.
No.
But yeah, it is probably for the best, because he is not a fan of Ravenholm. He wanted to make them suffer.
he's never tried. T.S. my love. Can Kess speak to fish? Can Luke speak to fish? I don't know what that question's aimed at. Can anyone? Jeannie can.
Ruby can speak to fish. Gina can't.
No, I still love T.S. My Love's previous question. Do you think this team will make it in the Tomb of Annihilation?
Not a clue. Not a chance.
Absolutely
I
not.
don't know what that
Not
is,
a
if I'm
chance.
perfectly honest.
It's a very,
It's
very,
called
yeah.
The Tomb of Annihilation.
It's a mega dungeon, Jeannie.
It's
Okay.
horrible. It's
Uh,
awful.
You basically, if I said, "Oh, I'm running Tomb of Annihilation," you lot turn up with like 6 characters each because you're gonna go through them all.
Yeah, we
Sandria's hit points would not survive the first encounter.
me and my
Tomb of-
love ran that with Game Weaver, and we lost 15 characters over a floor and a half.
I think it's
We didn't
just
even
not really
complete 2
how
floors.
the majority of us.
Tomb of Annihilation is a stat crunchy one shot
Yeah.
thing. It's not a role play one. I mean, you can put funny voices on, but it's not.
No,
You're not there for character development. You're there for stat crunching.
I'll have you know that Ruby's accent is me taking a funny voice off.
I wouldn't know how to do that, so all hail.
No, I spent many years sounding less Cornish, so I would be, taken seriously as an adult human person.
I love accents. Temple of Elemental Evil was worse. 100% Big Grumpy Gamer. They're just dungeon. I don't know what these people were thinking. They were just like, yeah, how can we just,
Murder everyone?
yeah, every encounter. Oh look, a rat with a Vorpal Longsword of Doom. It rolled a nat 1. That means it kills 4 people instead of 5. Woo! Great.
I've actually never played like one of the sort of like pre-written campaigns.
Yes, you have. You played Hallow's End.
Oh, that was like a pre-written one shot, but
Oh, you mean
We've done a
the-
couple of one-shots.
The adventure module path, yeah.
Yeah.
They're alright. They've got.
We're gonna
The
play
stories
Witchlight
are pretty
soon.
cool to them. But I was actually talking to Big Grumpy Gamer actually earlier today. Like some of the D&D adventure modules, they're not great. The story's cool. Like if you just read the story and then ran it yourself, I personally would have I think a more enjoyable time with myself and my party if it was just running that story my own way, but running it the way they present them. It's quite
Yeah.
not user friendly. If that makes sense.
I think I'm just spoiled because all my DMs all do homebrew. So
Yeah. I prefer homebrew.
We are
Runes
we
of
are
Linda
going to be
Mountain.
giving
old
Witchlight a shot soon now.
Ah,
aren't we?
yeah, Witchlight.
In theory.
In theory, that's the curse of D&D is getting 6 people in a room at the same time, or
That's why we have
on
Zoom.
Zoom at the same time.
But
Well,
yeah.
We're coming up
That's-
half 10. Normally we roll till 11. There's no reason we have to roll till 11. I'll talk bollocks for as long as you lot want. If chat has questions, get them in. If you lot think of anything else, get them in. If not, we can always wrap up early and whatever. I'm easy. I've got nowhere to be until January.
Good for some.
I te-
Technically, you do have somewhere
yeah.
to be. You've got to
on
go home.
On the
So-
24th, I've got to bugger off.
Yeah.
But I'm back on the 26th.
I can't think of any questions.
Small question, AD.
Well.
When you wrote the echoes that were the worst possible, horrible, nailed to a tree, missing their tongue, can't contact their, like, seriously, was everything alright at home when you wrote that? Because they were some fucked up shit, my friend.
So, as the DM, you have a very limited opportunity. Like, if you spent a lot of time, so I wrote a lot of stuff about a lot of you, like bumping into the orbs on the way up, the little fairy snow globes. And it was obviously getting to points where I was like, oh cool, how do I just not keep showing them memories to the point where, like, obviously, was it Xandria? Okay, one or two of you just steamed straight through. I think
Kess kind of languished in them a bit.
Yeah, I think, I can't remember if one of you deliberately touched them. Was it?
Yeah, you gave Ruby the very first ones where we had the different paths.
Yeah.
Each with our own symbol on it. Ruby didn't walk into them. Ruby was allowed to touch them.
Yeah.
And I deliberately went for all of them.
So when it got to the darker side of the stuff, it was a case of I wanted it to be a fight against yourselves when I think 3 of you failed the saves in the fight that Xandria died in, which meant I got your echo to put against you.
Yeah.
And it's that case of, like, I get that it is a possible outcome that you'd get a nicer version of yourself echo through, but then I'm like, it's kind of not how.
That's not
you know
how
what I mean?
this works.
So, and we'd not had a fight for a while, and I definitely wanted a fight, and it was that whole, like, Stefan this and the echoes that. So I wanted it to be a fight, so I had to do horrible versions of yourselves to make it, like, not a chance that you'd be like, we'll talk to this person. Because there's no way, in my eyes anyway, I might be wrong, there's no way Ruby were going to go, actually, she's alright. Do you know what I mean? Because I was trying to make it the whole, you wouldn't stand for that version of yourself sort of thing. And the only thing I could think of is, like, the horror stories of that sort of, I suppose, paganism, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To make Ruby go, I don't want that. And I try to do it with the other ones I got. Ish. But yeah.
Dumb as a post, wise as an owl.
yeah. But yeah, so that was... And no, to answer the question properly, nothing's ever right at home. I've done a Samson.
Off with the children.
But no, I loved all the echoes. It was also fun.
But yeah, it's like that was all, and we like expected the dark ones. It was when the red orbs on the beach
that you bypassed.
No, the ones that Ari literally just did a swan dive into, and Crystal tried to beguile, and they saw the absolute very worst possible thing that could ever happen to them.
Is that what you were on about? Not the fight?
Yeah, like the ones where
you saw your death.
Yeah, not just seeing the death, like when we were climbing up the cliff, but the one where Ari saw himself as an eagle literally nailed to a tree, and he saw the wall fall, and he saw Stefan's head on a stick, and all those ones. I was like, where the hell did that come from?
The red orbs are the death of your soul.
Right.
So that was the idea behind it. It's the death of your truest, whether you acknowledge that as a fear or not, your soul knows more than you do type mentality.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So the idea behind that was, and I could get away with that old cop-out, because you'll be like, well, that's not what my character thinks, and I'll be like, well, I think you'll find metaphysically. But obviously, I mean, that's for yourselves to obviously then roleplay through, whatever. But I try. It's the death of your soul, which is why, like, Jeannie's was very, like, kill the witch sort of Sailor Mist. Not Jeannie's. Did I read them to you afterwards?
Ruby's was read to us afterwards.
Yeah.
We saw.
But you saw
Aries and Crystal's.
Yeah.
Because that was the one where Luke's computer had an absolute
and we stopped just we wanted
all of
and then we were off for 5 months.
Yeah. So.
My bad. But
we
it
saw
was the
Aries
orbs
and
were
Crystals,
death of the soul orbs, which is why they went a bit a bit beyond.
Well, now I want to know if they were written down. I want to know what they all were.
They
So
were.
I'll be.
I'm sure they were.
Upsetting is what they all were.
I'll tell you afterwards. Yeah, because I think I read them out after that session, and obviously you weren't there. But yeah, I'll just stick on the call. I'll bring them up. They're not long. They're just like horrific, Ruby. Horrific, Harry. Eagle. Horrific. But yeah.
But yeah, no, I did really like seeing some of the the one where Ruby was just chilling about, bopping about the Towen Highlands, and then she helps this little injured eagle, and then this posh woman shows up.
The
Yeah. Yeah, some of those were really
what
fun.
was she called? Was it
Ariadne,
yeah.
Ariadne Samantha Rycroft.
Yeah, Samantha
Yeah, yeah.
Rycroft. Yeah, instead of Sebastian.
Female Ari.
Yeah.
I just liked being able to play out a more curious side to some of the characters, because obviously you had characters like Xandria, who is very, very self-assured, and there's nothing that this orb could possibly show me that I could possibly want to learn. Power straight through, not a second glance. Ari, who's like, oh, I don't think I want to deal with that. And then you have the ones that are like, oh, you know what? Yeah.
Again, that with
Might
Ruby,
as well
that's the
wonder what this is all
naivety
about.
and the innocence. It's the like, you know, how bad could it possibly be? The things that these orbs have to show us, like,
I mean,
yeah.
Question for Big Grumpy Gamer: is psychological horror more fun than big monstrous battles? Now, I'll answer my side first. I couldn't run psychological horror or play in it because I'm like Mr. Bean when it comes to horror. It just doesn't compute. I can't immerse. I don't get invited to Cthulhu games or anything like that. It goes straight over my head. Like, I just don't affect me. So I don't run it or play it. Players.
I think, like, because I would say that some of the Echo stuff does edge into what could be described as psychological horror. It's not like, because and you will all probably know, I am the biggest scaredy cat in the entire universe. Like, I have such an overactive imagination that there's basically nothing that won't scare the ever loving out of me, and then I'll make it worse myself. But I feel like AD, you balance quite well between stuff that is emotionally upsetting,
The trauma
and
shrine.
stuff that is emotionally and mentally traumatic for the characters, as well as stuff that is physically difficult for them to go through. So it's not just battle after battle after battle after battle where we're just hitting stuff. Sometimes it is pulling the rest of the party through a really shitty situation because Ari's
Your mum
seeing,
didn't love you.
but like, for all sorts of different things, of getting Ari through meeting his family again on the wall that he didn't want to go through.
No, you'll
Or-
all us.
Would he stay there? You stop running away.
Nah, Jenny, boy howdy, I am the worst. But I think you balance it quite well, and I think the Echoes was a really good moment to lean into the good and the bad and the possibilities, because it was, part of it was safer in that you're like, well, this is only a possibility. This isn't fully immersed, but in that moment it is, and then you're back out of it again, and just the throwing to kind of from pillar to post of that, I thought was really interesting. Whether that was your intention or not, it's how
Honestly,
it's settled.
the Echoes is beyond what I would normally run, like metaphysics. Like, I don't tend to go that deep. And the fact that it was such a big part of AJ's character, and then it passed on to Sapphire,
Yeah.
and then I'd already like dropped the hooks in, and I was like, well, I can't back out of it now. And then when I always knew Stefan was going to go there if you lot didn't do anything to stop it. Like, as in, I know you didn't know, but I mean, if you'd have done other actions on the way to that point,
If
maybe,
we'd have gone to see him instead of going other places,
you know, there could have been different stuff.
Yeah.
So I always had it on the side that I was like, well, if they don't interact with X, Y, and Z, Stefan's going to end up in the realm of echoes. But then, with you all being quite proactive of going there, I was like, well, shit, I've now got to write like space magic. Like, you know what I mean? It was just like, how do I? Like Thor said it best. In Asgard, science and magic are one and the same. And I was like,
but that's what I love. It's
Yeah.
what makes it.
so
It's so
it was that's
so much
that
more
was a challenge.
realized as a world.
That was a big challenge because of that whole. I don't want it to be your present, your future, your past. I wanted it to be possibilities. I wanted the echoes to be more present in the realm of echoes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I tried to do the way stations and obviously the whale being like
I love the whale
being
so
the-
much.
the realm because it's a whale and does sonar and shit like that. So I was like, oh, cool. And I took obviously like the Polynesian culture with like the Maori tattooing and stuff, and I was like, okay, I can see myself doing it now. What I do with other stuff like Little Red Riding Hood, don't worry, Jade, we'll explain it later. You know, I could see myself, all right, I can twist and turn this realm of echoes that originally was a little bit like, that's a bit too magic-y for me. But because in D&D, like if you go to that place, like if you go to heaven, say, right, heaven in the real world is a thing of, you know, faith, belief, etc. It's not a castle you go to that's brightly lit and got flags flying out the side. You know, someone's telling you about it. It's just a place of paradise. There's no like they've got a cavalry in bright pearl armor and stuff. But when you're in D&D, you can go to heaven, and it's a place. Like it's somewhere you go to. Demon realms, elemental realms, echo. You know, the echo realm. I was like, shit, I've got to
Got to build one now.
Yeah. So it was a happy coincidence that the reactions to start with, it were fluke. You lot went into it, started interacting with stuff, like seeing echoes of like Soul Taker and stuff like that, and then Akari.
I was expecting a lot more mirror-related horror, if I'm honest. I was emotionally preparing myself for some like shit where I was going to have to cover mirrors in my own house because that's how bad I am, Jenny. Like where I would have lights on for like weeks. Now, bearing in mind, you guys can't see it because I have a lovely
Green screen.
but like all along this wall is a mirrored wardrobe. So I was 100% ready to just
sleeping in the kitchen.
One of the first things we were told in the realm of echoes was don't look in the mirror. I thought there were going to be a lot more mirrors knocking around, and it was going to be like that Doctor Who thing. It's like, you know, when you look in the mirror and you think you see something move, but you didn't really see something move.
You missed the mirrors.
Thank fuck.
So you know when you went to the gardens, the little flower beds, and they were growing the orbs.
Yeah.
Though that tunnel system's all around them, they led to the mirrors. But
No.
you guys are obviously quite a very direct group, so you were like, go forwards, ignore the stuff on the side. Which again, that's how I run the world. Like, I want to follow you rather than you follow me. And obviously sometimes we cross paths, but you know what I mean. So I had mirror stuff. I don't know how horror it'd have been to yourselves, but I did have mirror stuff.
It would have been to Luke, but I think
The rest of you,
I'm a bit
I would have been like,
guilty.
that's alright. I don't know. What's up with Cass? Checking in, go on.
Yeah, I let
Harry would have hated it. I
sometimes,
actually
but-
enjoy that kind of stuff.
All right.
No.
Yeah, I like a horror movie, and it's like I'll let myself get creeped out during, and then maybe afterwards. But it's like I was half asleep once, and I'd been reading a lot of creepypastas. This was like several years ago, and there's that little bit in your brain that goes, what if you looked out the window and the Slender Man was in the garden? And just part of my brain, the part of my brain that Ruby is based on, just when I'm in no fucking mood for that, he can piss off. And I was like, okay, that's the energy we go with.
Jeannie, I have a small question for you. But why would you do that to me?
Right, Luke? What you do is you look at the scary thing and you go, I'm in no mood, pal, you can piss off.
But
So
why?
we're about to see Luke on the 5 o'clock news.
Anyway, going back to the original question, I think that AD ends up bringing in a lot of role play into the big monstrous battles because there's always a reason for it. There's always a reason we're fighting something.
It's not because he's
And-
rolled an 8 on a d10 and that's
I
why.
don't-
Yeah, it's not
are
just a
coming.
group of bandits
Oh,
randomly.
that's a
you know.
question that you're going to flat refuse to answer. When we've rolled D100s and everyone else is rolling 98 for some stupid reason, and a couple of us sensibly rolled a 26, like, what the hell was that for?
I think you find Mel's answering a question.
Sorry.
Oh, that's because he doesn't want to answer that question.
Deflect.
I see, but unfortunately I've improv for far too long to not just go, okay, I'll take that baton, yeah, thanks for that. But yeah, basically you always make a reason for the battles to happen and you always make it interesting. So like, for example, bringing in the echo versions of ourselves because we failed our wisdom saves or whatever it was. So the people that failed ended up having echoes of themselves.
It'd have been brutal if you'd have all failed.
I don't think we
Would
could
it?
take an echo cast. It would have
No.
been
I
very
don't want to
quick
fight a
is what it would have
blender.
been.
No.
But it's also interesting as well because like my first instinct was, well, he'd want to save his brother. So what would he do to help his brother? It wasn't fight all the things, it was, but what would he do to save his brother?
Yeah.
And again, that talks about the family thing as well. Like,
It's good.
he's started looking back now at his family that he actually abandoned, basically. However many stupid years ago that I like to change on the fly because I'm dumb.
Keeps people on their toes.
Keeps changing, it's fine. Just me being stupid. But yeah, basically it's interesting because, like, to me, you mix them so well and you don't even realise you're doing it yourself. But you mix them so well, there's always a reason for that battle. There's always, so for me, like, when I am generally more roleplay heavy than I am combat heavy, but with your games, I prefer, like, I really enjoy combat. Like, I genuinely really enjoy it because there's always a reason behind it.
Yeah.
Well, on the random encounter, to me, if a group of bandits attack me, I'm happy for them to attack me as a player. If the DM says that the stories they're going to jump me on the way out of the tavern or whatever, I'm all for smashing bandits. You know what I mean? Not in an Harry way, but with a Kess way. And but if the DM rolls an 8 on a D10 or whatever and attacks me with bandits, I don't like fighting the bandits.
No.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Which is why, as you've said, Mel, I try to give them a reason.
Yeah.
Especially as you get higher up as well. Like, bandits ain't going to be attacking you on road. You know what I mean? They're going to look at you and be like, that's not who we want to rob.
We've not got anything for a fucking start.
That's true. That is very true.
There you go,
I have the emotional range of a teaspoon, so psychological horror doesn't really get to me.
It just doesn't exist in my world. I just Mr. Bean it.
Yeah.
Mr. Bean it. But you
Constant
Imagine it,
anxiety,
but it
constant
just
fear.
doesn't. Like, I can think of all the gory shit. I mean, for God's sake, I do special effects makeup. I have to think of that stuff, but it doesn't affect me, and I think that's probably why it doesn't affect me, because I do special effects makeup.
Like, we've talked about crewing horror laps for a friend, me and Luke, and I was all for it, and Luke was like,
No.
Luke, come so I can cover you in liquid latex and fake blood.
It's the kind of thing that I am fine to crew, because I used to crew for haunts, like in like Octobers and stuff like that over here. But I just have a very overactive imagination, and you can give me the tiniest morsel of something, and I will run 60 miles with it, and I will give it arms and legs and a backstory, and which is great for RP, but it's terrible when you're of like an
in a tent in the middle of the woods.
yeah, like, no, it's not good. But also, bringing back, now that Mel has answered your question, I think
Mother
it's
fucker.
I think it's important to ask.
There were 6 story points, 3 in the first session, 3 in the second session. Or at least, not necessarily mentioned, but that I was keeping an eye on my head and making notes next to. That those dices, the dice rolls that you lot performed, allowed me to determine which way I'd like those story points to present to yourselves. So every one of you affected it.
Cool.
But yeah.
I do like it when you do that. So even if that's a lie and that's not what that was, I'm happy with that outcome.
I just can't believe that 3 of us rolled 98. Like,
It was
what?
a little bit odd, and the fact that it was the 3 people who have been here since the start, and the 3 people who have a the dragon married and the siblings weird triangle going on.
Well, I'm not saying I believe in the supernatural or anything, but you know.
We manifested that.
You're a wall.
As a trio.
Luke and I rolled the same dice, basically.
And I rolled the dice you gave me. As congratulations, you're a paladin now, piece and dice.
But yeah, it was good.
No, that Mel's answered the question.
I love sassy Luke. I love sassy Cass. What's his name with the blindfold and the corset when he's like, and who it like when Ari was in the amber, like, and
I cannot wait to find out which court Kess is part of. That's all I need in my life, and I've been thinking about it ever since.
Right, and that dude goes, so who is Aristotle Sebastian Rycroft? And Kess dead ass goes, well, you could ask him, but he's busy at the moment, isn't he? I was just like,
Sassy Cass are the best thing.
I was just like, Celtic Fear, the Fey knows my name, oh no.
God, yeah.
Yeah,
that's Ari, and that's Cass, and that's
loved,
Andrea. No!
I also loved Kess reaction, like when Ruby and Kess were bollocking Sapphire for touching the mirror and for accepting a drink from an unknown entity without checking it was free of obligation. And Ruby, because it's what it gets drilled into Ravenholm, but Toa is not without its Celtic fear. She goes like, well, you never accept a drink from someone you don't know, because if they're Fae, and then she realises who she's next to and goes, oh, sorry, Cass, and you're like, no, she's got a point.
You're like,
we're fuckers.
We're Fae, and even we have Celtic feet.
Sean is definitely the Travis of you lot.
Yeah, he bless his soul.
Like with the orbs, it were like Sean would be like, Sapphire will not touch the orbs. And then he'd be like, but he trips on his tail and bangs into one. What do I have to roll? Like,
Sean wanted so badly to go into all the orbs.
Xandria's first meeting with Sapphire was trying to stab him. Ruby's is, and it's like that picture I sent you of the elephant behind the telegraph pole, where he's trying to stealth through the woods, and it's like, what you see in these grey, rainy woodlands is a big-ass white lion wearing bright blue robes, doing a pantomime sneaky walk. Oh, I love Sapphire, bless his nose.
How do you lot feel knowing, because I've obviously said to you, that you're halfway through? I mean, it's very ballparky. Do you know what I mean?
I'm kind of sad by that.
Yeah, because it means there is a point in the future where it won't be happening anymore, and this is supposed to be infinite. How dare you?
I think it's exciting. I think it's exciting because
I truly love beginning, middle, and an end. I love it.
Yeah,
I love trilogies.
I think because we're telling a story at the end of the day, and I'm so excited to see where the story goes next and where it ends up, because for so long it looked like what was essentially just the first half was the story. So the fact that it's kind of about turned in like that's only really the first act, so well, first act and a half really, I think is really exciting, because the characters have already grown so much and they're going to grow so much more. I don't know where it's going, and I think that's, as someone who enjoys the narrative of it, I think it's brilliant. I'm really excited. Yeah, this story might be over, but also campaign 2.
Yeah.
That's true.
Campaign 2, Next Nation, let's go.
I'll be like, where do you want to play? Not Ravenholm.
Not Ravenholm. I'm not going to Ravenholm.
You brought this on yourselves, kids. I'm just saying.
I
I
don't have to
do
create a new character. What?
Yeah,
kind
that's
of like the
thing.
idea if there were other groups that played in Colossus, like, and it was set like 50 years in the future, they might come across like Cass or Xandria or like a mysterious little old lady with a mouse in her hair, or
We run a
See, the thing is, you haven't watched. I was gonna say you haven't watched the other streams that AD's done, where he's brought it. They're all intertwined. It's real fun. Like when he had Pathfinder going on a Saturday, and I was just kind of casually watching one day, not really paying like super attention. Suddenly you hear Lancelot because he's in a painting in this Pathfinder campaign, and I'm like, what? So suddenly I'm like, oh, and then obviously the 24-hour stream was like heavily intertwined, obviously.
The
Oh, yeah,
24-hour
that was-
stream
that was
an
always said it was
absolute
gonna be.
masterpiece.
So
I
good.
mean,
If you do say so yourself.
if I do say so, I mean, they blew me away. The party blew me away, which is why.
Well, three of them were there last week, weren't they?
Well,
Three of them? Yeah.
three of them, yeah. No. Only Ree was on the 24-hour stream, but Rich and Amelia are part of Ree's group for the new campaign starting in 2022, and we have called it, or I've called it, When Glory Is Not Enough, and they shall be playing in Atoria. And I've just finished their backgrounds with them all. There's 6 of them, whereas there's only 5 of yourselves. Yeah. And yeah, so they'll be jumping in next year, and they are also in Colossus because it's the world I know. So,
Do you know what I would love for us to do for season 2? Is if we all played evil characters.
I
Nah.
will never run
No,
an evil.
not for a campaign.
I don't think it's fun.
Evil one shot.
Really, I quite like being
No,
an evil.
the-
No.
the-
I
the-
like it for a one shot.
one shot. I can handle. Evil campaigns don't work. In my
I
opinion.
I
in
struggle
my
with
opinion.
it for a one
I
shot,
mean-
if I'm honest.
I
I
like
mean,
it
when
in
I say
theory.
one shot, I mean like an hour and a half.
Yes.
I like
But
it
even
in
then-
theory, but I'm the person who goes, I'm gonna replay this MMO or this RPG, choosing all the evil options so I can see the other story, and then the NPC is like, please sir, will you help? And I'm like, oh, I can't be evil.
Yeah.
That would be mean.
That just reminds me of playing Dragon Age Inquisition and going, right, I am gonna play a straight character. I'm gonna play a straight character. Enter Dorian.
Yeah, every single time. Not
Every
a
single
chance. Not a chance.
I played an evil character in a campaign, and it was quite enjoyable.
I
I just find it.
Way back when
Sure.
3.5 was quite new, my friends and I, we did an evil one, and the only reason it stopped is because apparently my brother and I, as murder siblings played by real life siblings, was a bit, they were like, if your parents had you tested, this isn't right.
God.
I think
Like, I was a scion and he was a necromancer, and it was
It's also like,
a lot of fun.
I was about to say lawful evil.
that's what I was.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
feel
if
like
if it was like lawful, so like obviously the Emperor and Darth Vader in Star Wars. Do you know what I mean? The you know, the Darth Vader is, in my opinion, lawful evil. Like he's basically
Yeah.
fulfilling his thing. But anyone who plays chaotic evil, you're out. I've got no interest
Like-
in DMing for you.
Oh, nobody likes that guy. But in a campaign where you have said, like, right, let's play the bad guys, it is a bit different because it's agreed upon ahead of time, so it is different than being
I feel
that
like
guy.
there's a difference between playing if you're going for we're playing evil characters or if you're going for the good, like looking at what the description of the alignments are, because like the alignments are a lot blurrier than people like to, like, you're not, lawful evil isn't mustache twirling burning
Yeah.
down orphanages, it's using the
believe you're
rules to
right.
meet
Yeah.
your own ends
Yeah.
and
It's your
not
law,
really
it's
caring
your-
about
yeah.
the outcome for other people so much.
You're a bit more
you know-
absolute as lawful
Yeah.
evil.
Yeah.
I suppose lawful good you'd be absolute as well. Just
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, again, it's just a weird thing to.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel I don't feel
think
I
it's
could run it or play it.
counterproductive to running a story, having the whole murder hobo thing like that.
Having like
doesn't-
maybe like one lawful evil character in a party
Yeah, maybe.
is different to
It
like
would
having a
definitely
whole
give
party
the moral
of.
compass of the party questions, because they'd be
Yeah.
like, why don't you just kill that person? They're breaking your specific code of morals. Just end them. And then
Well,
the
it's
party
saying
goes,
that
having a single lawful evil character in a party of good-ish characters never ends well. All I can think of is every time poor Phil would play with us, and he
You
would
just kill him?
always play. Yeah, he would just immediately be killed.
the first
because
time
he
it
did
becomes a
something and everyone would
liability,
be
you're
like,
like, you might let them off it once, but then you're like, you're just gonna get us. You're gonna get us all killed, so we'll just bin you. I don't know. It's weird. I mean,
I think it depends on your
Yeah.
interpretations of.
Thinking,
I think it could be done with
Yeah.
a different. Myself, I couldn't play or DM
Yeah.
it, but I don't see why other DMs and players couldn't pull off
No.
a decent evil campaign. I personally just couldn't. I'd be the worst evil character in the world.
Like I think I
Well,
I just don't find
struggle
it-
so much. Yeah.
I was toying with like some ideas of backup characters, just in case, you know.
I just like
Um,
building characters for 80s
yeah.
World at this point.
And
I'm
I
honest.
thought I quite like the trope where you have a group of, like, if the party obviously are all good people and they have been given essentially custody of someone who is not very nice, either because that person is skilled in an area of magic that they need help with, or because
But that then,
somebody powerful wants rid of them and has been like, you're adventurers who owe me a favour.
but that leans towards me going, I've been that person,
Yeah.
because having custody of them to like, at what point have I decided that I'm playing a game where I will sacrifice my character / life for
Yeah.
this? Do you know what I mean? So it's like,
I mean, like, my idea behind that character would be like the trope where they become, if not nice, then good, or at least better. Like,
they'll
the
they'll
party is
think
the
about their
good-
decision rather than just
Yeah,
good.
the party is a good influence on them, where they, you know, come to realise that, oh, they do actually quite like puppies after all, so
I
they
can see
won't.
that, like a taming of that sort of side
Yeah.
of themselves, but they've still got that edge. It's like, well, look, it's the trope in it where you get the baddie come good slightly or just enough.
Yeah.
Comes
Yeah.
good just enough that they can pass off as a hero. But yeah.
Or you play it all off for laughs, whichever way you want to do it. You know.
Just all play chaotic evil. I'll send you in. I'll send you in.
I
a
find it
dungeon.
really tiring.
Yeah,
I find it genuinely quite tiring. Like, I love to play a little chaos character for a one shot. Nothing brings
Yes,
me
you
greater
do.
joy
Yes,
than
you
just
do.
complete. But I get it doesn't work for a campaign. It doesn't work for a campaign because I like a story, and if all you're doing is playing in an intentionally chaotic character as opposed to like a, say, chaotic neutral, or like when like
Someone
an
who's
aligned
just-
character,
Yeah.
an
A
A
aligned character,
well-meaning walking disaster zone.
yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas someone who is
Or
just
subtle.
or someone who is just having a bit of a piss take, let's be honest. That works great for one shot, but for a campaign, it stops the story from progressing. And that's not fun for me, and I don't imagine it'd be fun for the other players. So, and it's not fair for the DM to put up with that session after session, but I will do it to Sarah every time she puts me in a one shot.
She loves it though in the one shots, because in a one shot all bets are off, and if we
No
all
one thought you
end
can
up
murder me, no problem. I have
if
no
we
issue
all
with
end
that.
up dying because Luke decided to lick the Pumpkin King's head, then we all had fun on
Luke
Halloween night
doesn't
playing
do
a one
anything.
shot. It's
The sock puppet that I brought with me, on the other hand,
Jesus.
All to blame.
yeah, Luke's character won a goblin sock puppet in a game of Whack-A-Goblin, and Luke was, what, a pitcher of sangria deep by the time we got to the boss battle?
Luke was having a good time and enjoying himself. It was
It was
great.
fun. It was fun.
No,
But I usually play a very, very serious character with Sarah, so it's.
That's true. Debbie didn't know what she was saying. That was hilarious.
FYI, I've got the orb stuff for you, Luke, for after.
Ooh.
You're not going to sleep, Luke. I'll warn you. It's not
fine.
pleasant.
They're not
He needs to sleep. He's off tomorrow.
I'm off tomorrow. Zev will scare away the big beasties. It'll be fine.
Well, it's wrap up time, unless you have any.
Oh, I'm
Last
good.
call.
I think
Any
we're
more for any more?
I'll give them a couple of minutes for the old delay. What was I going to say?
How do you feel about
Was
it being halfway
Gravy
through?
right?
I couldn't have worded it better myself, mate. The way you said it, like.
Cop
yeah,
out.
well, I'm really, really upset that I'm obsessed with collaborative storytelling. I LARP for that reason. I DM for that reason rather than play. When I LARP, whether I be an NPC or a player, I DM. Prince Akeem was Prince of the Summer Fair and all this palaver, and I did 10 years of story with hundreds of people, stuff happening all over the place, but never once did I treat it as a character. It
Yeah.
was always to me an NPC. And a lot of my friends were like, no, but you did this and you role played that, and I'm like, I chose to role play it that way
Yeah.
because I thought that's how it would work if I was DMing Hakeem as an NPC. Collaborative storytelling is like the amount of Google Docs I've got where I've just added a load of friends and we just write shit. The LARP, the D&D. The reason I am so sandboxy is because I want you to collaboratively tell me your story. Do you know what I mean? And it's why I'm a big fan of the whole level 1 to 20 on character backstories and stuff like this. I love that because I get to witness as much of what I like, writing about. So, but exactly like you said, stories end, and I want them to end, and I want to feel that small bit of, I don't know if depression is the right word, but do you know when you
It's
get
like
to
the
end of it,
wistfulness of finishing a good book.
yeah, and that feeling of sadness, but not in a depressive sort of spiral sort of way, but a sadness of, it's over. But then I get to see the second book in the trilogy, or I get to just see, even if it ain't a trilogy, just the second book, or another story in that world that still reminds me of that story, even though it's not the same characters. The whole, other streams in Colossus and all that. I love the fact that I know this story matches this story, even though there's none of the same characters, none of the same NPCs or anything like that, but it's in Colossus. So having a halfway point, to me, again, ballparkish. It's not like it'll be 114 sessions, although that is a ridiculous number to say out loud.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really keen. I'm really excited to, because I now obviously know what I'm going to attempt to do with you lot going forwards. So I'm super keen to see how you react, how you further grow and develop, and how many more stories you guys can tell me while I'm doing it. And I cannot wait. It's shit to wish it to end, but I cannot wait for the last couple of sessions and a wrap up.
Yeah.
I can't wait. It's because to me, like mega geek at book club, we all read the book that week. We all turn up next Thursday, Friday, whatever, in a pub, and we all talk about the book. Oh, I'm like a kid at Christmas. I cannot wait to have that talk with you lot at the end of this epic book. Do you know what I mean? And just be like it'll be ridiculous. I may find my tear ducts somewhere and put them back in at the end of the.
Oh god, I'll be in bits. Jeez.
It'll be one tear.
One tear,
and you can share it.
A pure besto.
A pure
Kind of
besto.
want Colossus the LARP.
Me and Eddie are writing a LARP, and we did.
Is it Colossus the LARP?
We created a different offset because obviously the D&D stuff we have to be careful with how stuff crosses over. But Colossus LARP is definitely still shadowing in our minds, but we just need to find a good way of doing it. But Colossus LARP is fucking badass.
Weirdly enough, Xandria was made as a LARP character, not a D&D character.
Should be more powerful as a LARP character. Warlock. Jesus. Anyway, what was I going to... Yeah.
Time for bed, kids. Time for wrap up.
So a couple of things.
Zebedee.
One, just to further on for that question, I can't wait for the end of it because of Campaign 2. Campaign 2, again, it's the trilogy. I like the next step, and I can't wait for you guys to roll new characters. All characters, not new characters, because you've all rolled new characters, probably by now. But you know, when you get to
technically do have a couple of other characters.
there you go.
They just
Yeah.
get used in
and
other
I
campaigns.
can't wait to see them. And I don't want to know you've rolled, you know, a cleric, a rogue, a bard. I want to meet them. I want to drag them out of you more over another 100 sessions. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I do like the fact that we're halfway through, and I love the fact that the halfway point is a big number and not just it's 12 sessions and then we'll do something else.
Yeah.
So, well, that's me. I like.
Well, I think what's nice as well is that this is like the longest running campaign I've been involved with, and the highest level character that I've got as well, where it's like built up each level as well.
The natural build of it. It's cool
Yeah,
as
yeah.
fuck. Like, it's just cool. It's cool as
That's
fuck.
all you can say about it,
I
though.
love it, man. I love it. So yeah, but yeah, it's Christmas or the 25th to those that don't give a shit about the fat northerner with a beard. That's not me. So look after yourselves. Enjoy your holiday if you've got one, or whatever you're doing over the next couple of days, weeks. We won't be streaming Fable Among Titans until January now. What does that feel like, leveling up a character? You'll never know, Big Grumpy Gamer, for you are also a forever DM. Enjoy your holiday. Look after yourselves. I hope you're having a wonderful time. I hope COVID fucks off soon. But Merry Christmas from me and this lot, I'm assuming. Us coconuts love Christmas. But yeah, take care of yourselves. I don't really know what else to say. I might do a solo stream or two between now and the return, but we'll see. So, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Thanks for tuning in and asking questions. Players, thank you for 57 sessions of absolute badassness. And we're still here. We're still going, folks. We're still going. Second channel, eh? Fucking bastards. But take care of yourselves. So for now, say goodbye, players. Or Merry Christmas.
Goodbye, players.
Goodbye,
Oh,
players.
Merry
Merry
Christmas,
Christmas,
players.
players.
Help!
Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.